Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the Crypto Top 100 review! What do we call this? I can't even remember. It's a fun name we have given this. The Top Crypto 100? Where's our spreadsheet? TRI Crypto Top 100 review! Hello, everyone. Good evening. Probably need some sort of, maybe down the road if we actually do a bunch of these episodes, I'll have like theme songs and maybe like the TRI Crypto Top 100 review dancers. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? I don't know whether you guys remember. Actually, they always say that if you want to know what's popular now, just look back 40 years ago. And I don't know whether any of you are old enough to remember the Solid Gold dancers. And Adrian Zemed, I remember my sister. Oh, God, she was in love with that guy. I got a funny feeling that that's coming back. So I don't know. Panel, are any of you familiar with the Solid Gold dancers?
No.
I am now that I've Googled them.
That was a very awkward hello from the crew. Anyway, hello crew. Nice to be back in the saddle with you guys. How you doing tonight?
Good. Better than Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. Price goes
doing
up,
wonderful.
price goes down. And I'm not even quite sure how you're doing. I guess you're just gonna have to chime in. Ben, we haven't heard from you. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, doing great. Just narrowly escaped a hurricane down here, but the power's back on and
Good
all is well.
heavens. Yeah, actually, I've been thinking about frozen concentrated orange juice. I don't know whether
Oh,
you've
yeah?
heard me talking about that recently. I wouldn't be, especially if we have a nasty hurricane season here, that could do some damage. Anyway,
Yeah.
we haven't heard that kind of conversation in many, many years. We're here to talk crypto, though. Put away the silly frozen concentrated orange juice features. And the boys were just bringing it to my attention that things are looking a little heavy here this evening. I have on the screen here just in front of me a couple just quick boos that I took a look at on the big boys. Bitcoin on the left, Ethereum on the right. And actually Ben pointed out that there's actually a fairly significant Ethereum fundamental event coming up. I guess in probably about a month's time. Is that correct, Ben?
Yeah, that's correct. So August 4th.
Yeah, what was the name of that? Sorry?
So
I think
there's
we
gonna be-
shared it, didn't we? Or did you PM? Oh, you were PM me on
Yeah,
the site,
PM'd
didn't
in,
you?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on.
there's 5, they're called EIPs, but Ethereum improvement proposals that are going to be taking place. The London hard fork.
London hard fork. There you are. Dun dun dun. Where did you pick? Did you send it to me in a private message or put it in our little top
Yeah,
crypto
in your
100?
private message.
Maybe if you could, Ben, just get in the habit of chucking stuff in that room, and then that way, if I ever want to think about or make reference to anything that we talked about in this meeting, I know exactly where to find it. I don't know. Is that a cool idea? Is that all right?
For sure. Yeah.
Thanks, man. But you PM'd me it, so I'm sure I have it here. You must be Moonbag. Is that who you are?
Yeah.
It's funny, you don't look like a Moonbags. Just being silly. Crazy internet sort of dual lives. So here we go. Ethereum's London hard fork expected to launch on August 4th. So are we getting maybe a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news? I was wondering why, these two charts look very, very different. And in the public videos that I've been doing recently, I've been talking about how DeFi and the poop coins, more DeFi-ish though, they actually look a hell of a lot healthier than the corn. And frankly speaking, the corn's looking a little dangerous here right now. Videos of late have been basically saying that if we lose these trend lines and then, go and actually M out below this trend line, and now you can see Ethereum's even flirting with its trend line. We go and, M out below these trend lines. You can see the bearish bots, the levels that are on the screen here. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'll tell you, I'm not overly impressed with the the good part about this is you'll notice that the volume here is anemic. So I don't think it's necessarily that the Bitcoin story and that crypto story is negative. I just think that it's just a lack of participation by everybody. It's like the whole world's just kind of going to sleep here, waiting for the U.S. politicians to juice the system with a whole bunch more free money. And if they don't get that free money, I don't know what happens to Risk here. Risk might just get its ass kicked. Keep in mind, people, before the free money was coming out last year, Bitcoin was $4,000, right? So let's not kid ourselves here. Anyway, let's all keep our fingers crossed. More free money, more free money, more free money. And, of course, these assets as a great inflation hedge. Of course, the free money, that's completely hyperinflationary. If we are still in that world, then, you know, all the moon boys on Bitcoin and stuff like that, they'll be vindicated and we head higher. So really, ironically enough, our fate is really in the hands of guys like Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell right now, even though probably nobody in crypto really wants to admit that. But that's just Brian's 2 cents. Okay, so we're here tonight to pretty much... The whole reason why I wanted to do this was I just wanted to have a real look at sort of what the top 100 names in crypto look like. Who are the main players nowadays? Who's driving the bus? What are the stories? Would I even be interested in any of this crap? And I have to say, I was very pleased with the, and it seems to have been rather random, although there was one gentleman in your level 1 course, Nick, that AJ, I'm sure he would have loved to have gotten in on this little group of ours. But it almost feels to me like it was fate. These 3 gentlemen were drawn to me. I do find it really interesting. One is a level 2er, and actually, how's it going with Mr. Gann right now, Derek? You having fun with Mr. Gann?
Oh yeah, Gann's awesome. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of work on Gann.
Yeah, so and I hope you're having fun studying the top of Saturn, trying to figure out what the hell what the matrix code is. So he's off having fun with Mr. Gann. We have a level 1er who was actually referred by a gentleman who I think very highly of. So I was so pleased when he told us that Colin had referred him. But we have Nick. And Nick, what are you doing right now? You're studying momentum indicators right now, correct?
Yep, this week is MACD.
All right, and you just did a nice big whack of volume analysis, right? Last week,
we did.
I think? Yeah. So if anything, you should have a new sort of appreciation for the complete lack of leadership here in the volume picture on both of these names here. That I find fascinating. And now, hopefully, does that speak to you when you see that everybody basically has gone to sleep here?
Yeah, it seems like both camps are pretty much dead.
Well, let's not say dead. They're just sleepy. No big deal. Everybody's taking a pause. They're just waiting for the politicians to throw them a bunch of new money, and then away we go. If anything, I don't want the bears to wake up here. You bears, just stay asleep, and let's just, everybody just be quiet and just go sideways here. And finally, Ben's a basic site member, and just sort of crashing the site, kind of trying to figure out what the hell it is we do here at TRI. I was actually very pleased that we had a nice cross section of site participants here in this little group. So if I understand correctly, Ben, you're dodging hurricanes right now. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But I think we're through the worst of it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
And actually, it's interesting because we had Josie on the call. Well, actually, he's a big participant in the TRI Secret Options Formula Club. We have a Stock Pickers Club every Tuesday night. And he's from your neck of the woods, Derek. I think he lives just outside of I'm not just outside of somewhere, but he lives in Georgia. And still haven't got you guys to report in on that cool place I want to buy down there in Georgia. Somebody was going to go visit it. I want somebody to at least kick the tires and see if the house is actually for real or not. Did I ever show you that place down in Georgia?
Yeah, I saw it. It looks nice. I mean, I would say go for it.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's Derek's professional real estate advice.
Sight unseen. Go for it.
All right. Okay, so I love this crew that we're working with. I think this is a great cross section of the site. Maybe if we're really lucky, we convince Ben that the formal education path of TRI is worth it, and we get him into the spring term, or I guess into the fall term now. Maybe he has no choice. We'll just force him to take the course. He has no choice. I don't know, but
right.
if anything, it's okay. I kind of like Ben's sort of like laissez-faire, casual attitude too. Like a few of the names, he's like, screw it. You know what? I don't mind buying CZ's corrupt, centralized sushi swaps. What the hell? Let's go for it. So, in a weird sort of way, it's great having that sort of very Joe Sixpack kind of approach to crypto as well. I think, you're a lot smarter about internal fundamentals than I think you lead on.
But at the end of the day, I'm here to make money from trading.
There you go, right? That's the only thing that matters. If I give him a pick and he makes money off it, maybe we can get him to spend some of that profit on the education programs. Who knows? Anyway. All right, so where are we going to go first? I guess we work with our spreadsheet. We're going to try and tackle, I guess, we try and do about 10 names. Looks like the boys have already sort of figured out which names we're going to attack tonight. One thing I will say is that as we've been going along here, it's fascinating to watch, and we should almost, guys, maybe even put like a date reference when we did the first coins and the next ones and stuff. Because what I do find fascinating is when we first started, keep in mind, we've been doing this for about a month and a half now. And when we first started this, everything looked like shit. And I am noticing that as time is slowly going by, slowly but surely, names are starting to bottom and actually starting to rally. And actually, I haven't booked any doubles in crypto yet, but I know like Luna, for example, is actually starting to get up there. And there were a few others that I did some funny little stabs off the bottom, and they're actually starting to get up to the point where actually I might even have to start selling soon. I did find that interesting, but for lack of a better, let's just get right into this and let's see what we got here. So first things first, and actually maybe before I get going, was there anything you gentlemen want to add to the conversation before we get going here tonight in earnest? This is your time to speak.
Don't think so. Let's get
Crickets?
into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, cool. Hopefully that's a good sign. No complaints. All right, BTT is our first bad boy. Bittorrent. Of course, torrent, whenever I think of that, I think of things like file sharing, trying to share movies and stuff for free. Why would I want to buy this, and what's the sales pitch?
Yeah, that's a good question because I'm looking at like the BitTorrent site and it's like Netflix, Facebook, Google, Twitter, they all use this protocol. So how does that work? Isn't that like, I don't know, it seems like counterintuitive to using BitTorrent. I thought BitTorrent was more supposed to be a sort of peer-to-peer sharing. Am I missing something?
Well, I mean, for one, if you're a big corporation, I'd sure like to use all of my users' internet connections and hard drive space to be peer-to-peer transferring data across the internet. But I don't know if they use it or not. But if you're seeing that, that's interesting. But yeah, it started as BitTorrent and uTorrent. I think those are the two products that are still around in that space. But yeah, Justin Sun kind of bought this, brought it into the Tron ecosystem. And then they do have some crypto related services. I don't know what they are offhand, but they have like services where you can get like faster download speeds or something and earn the BTT token as well. I don't know a lot about those apps though. Yeah, I think DLive, kind of on that middle of their Twitter bio there. DLive is one of those applications, I'm pretty sure.
Right on.
And that's a live broadcasting service, is it?
I think that one is live streaming, yeah.
So we could, streamers offline. I guess they're not live. This is what's this? Vitamins more? I don't know. I'm just clicking on links here.
I mean, everyone
Pretty
needs
cool.
more vitamins.
Yeah, you're telling me, buddy. Twitch is here. Vitamins more. So maybe that's just vitamins more people. But
I mean, to me,
interesting.
this just looks like a play for Justin Sun to buy something that was sort of well known for some reason,
Yeah, I
and
seem
maybe
to. Yeah,
intend
so
to use
just
it, but
I
it's not really
remember.
being used. Maybe like I don't. Maybe this is a play for the future in terms of what they want to do for infrastructure. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, so this is one of Justin Sun's little toys, eh?
Which makes sense because BitTorrent's already a household name,
Is
right?
it? Okay.
Well,
And
you've got
it's
that history of
connected
it.
to that Tron because there's Tron scan, so it must be
Yep,
linked in with that.
they acquired it in a couple years ago.
It
And
actually says the Tron token is a native token on this, so I guess they somehow converted Tron tokens to be used on here.
and BSC scan, isn't that the Binance coin people?
Yep, that makes sense too because says the investors are actually Binance Labs and Tron Foundation. So
All right. Okay. So you're starting to get a feel for sort of who are the principals behind this. That makes sense.
And it did kind of pump with a lot of some of the dinosaurs, some of the scam coins. When we had some of those big pumps this spring, it had a decent pump with him, which kind of
Okay.
made sense.
Why don't we?
I'm not saying
look at the chart?
BTT is a scam or anything. I'm just saying it's one of those coins that have been around a while. It's
Okay. Well, where do you think we ought to take a look at this thing?
Probably Binance. I think it launched on Binance through
I don't know.
Binance Labs.
You guys, I don't know whether you follow the UK, but I heard that the UK people are taking a poop on Binance too, as well. Eh?
Yep, them, Ontario. It seems like everyone's jumping on board.
Holding our breath here in the US.
Well,
I don't know.
the fun
We-
thing
we-
is they
use
kind
it
of
anyway.
already went through the mess with the US, and now they've got like sort of Binance US listing, don't they? So
yeah, they do have Binance US, and I
Yeah.
can't stand that. I tried to exchange out. I sent some coins over there back in. This must have been like in February, and they never got to my wallet. Although on the chain it says they were in my wallet, so I've been going through this whole support issue for the last, 4 or 5 months with them. So
And I suppose you saying that you are part of Americans and all that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they're getting the support from, but it doesn't seem to be. They're not doing too well of a job. So I'm not going to use that exchange anymore.
Yeah, I think the sad thing is I think Big Brother, their ultimate objective will be to have all Americans on American exchange. Like a great example, like Canadians, it is actually illegal for a Canadian to have an account in the U.S. to trade stocks. It's like illegal. So that's how seriously they take these 1%, take controlling their nut, controlling their oligopoly, monopoly, whatever. So it's a bit sad commentary on our society, and I guess what I don't like is the way that crypto people kind of openly flaunt. Like the FTX people. Like there was a site called Simple FX. They went through this whole thing. There's actually a couple sites that were stock trading sites years ago. They all got shut down one at a time, one after another. And this whole recent sort of DeFi push into the stock space, I really wish they wouldn't do that because it's just going to piss the fucking Goldman Sachs off. And then they're just going to come back with vengeance. Really shit on it. But anyway, only time will tell. I suppose that's what's supposed to happen. Looking at the chart, I mean, the good part about it is you're not coming in and buying the top of the market. The message a few weeks ago was like, well, thank God we, if I was able to get to you and, convince you not to chase, don't chase. Well, hopefully we saved you some money. It's funny. The guy who actually I built this setup with, Nick, we named the setup actually after his superhero. If you're watching this, Nick, I'm sure you're going to get a chuckle out of that. Anyway, we named the setup the Ron Jeremy setup. And I think his screen name was Ron Damon. Anyway, for some reason the name Ron Jeremy came to mind. He loved trading trend lines. So we're like, okay, let's put this setup together and we'll name it after you. We called it the Ron Jeremy. But you've probably seen me make reference to trend line breaks before and, waiting for W's on the other sides of trend lines, like holy free holies. If that isn't the most beautiful, perfect testament to, and again, people, you're watching this. Learn this. This is free information. You know how much fucking like Wall Street, Bay Street, where are you? Nixon, Albuquerque. What's Financial Street in Albuquerque? I don't even know. They have a Financial Street in Albuquerque?
Oh, I'm sure we do, but I don't know what it is.
Ben, you're in Miami. Oh my goodness. There's lots of money down there. But I used to work for all the commodities brokers, right? They're all located in Florida. Why? Because Florida bankruptcy law, if you go bankrupt in Florida, your business can go under, but you keep your principal residence. So these commodity brokers, it was so classic, it was so cliche. They because any commodity broker, half of it's just an outright shill, and then when the market breaks, the little fly-by-night brokerage houses, they blow up and they just disappear and you never hear from them again. And they always declare bankruptcy, but their principals, you go down and their houses are just over the top. They're ridiculous because they just pour all their money into their houses. I don't know, Ben, have you ever seen any of the houses down in Miami? It's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Fort Lauderdale, all that.
And I have seen, a lot of places based here as well, so that makes sense.
So now you know. Hey, I bet you a lot of people were wondering, now why do they do that? But this world is such a scam. Anyway, point here is I'm trying to help you people. This is a great lesson to learn. I think we'll call it the Ron Jeremy. In fact, you know what? I think we'll even save it, because I was talking to the guy who actually built this with me the other day, and he was all pissed off because I was posting penis drawings on the internet, and he's like, you can post a penis drawing on the internet, but you can't call this setup the Ron Jeremy, which his real name was. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And for whatever it's worth, I did post that funny GIF. What I was trying to say is, like, get ready. The summer silly season is getting going. You could see it coming 100 miles away. Hell, I can even see it in this name here. I can see the rally coming. Point here is you got to wait for the damn W on the other side of the trend line. Can you see how the W's just never come in? Can you got the three of you? Can you see that? It's remarkable how this stuff works that way. I don't know. Am I hallucinating? Maybe you can see a W. I can't see any W's. There's this funny little action down over here. Now, I don't know. The good part about risk management is, and I don't even know what. This would be interesting trivia. And actually, maybe we should check out the YouTube page, because I do hear people blinging me. I wonder if that's even working or not. And how are you guys doing tonight? You feeling good? Am I talking too much? I'm only about 20 minutes in here. Give me some feedback, people.
No, you're talking good.
We're all right? All right, good. Let's see what we got here. Deborn, oh, you're over there on the YouTube page. Can you hear the YouTube page? Can you hear that fan in the background?
I can't. I have the volume turned down. I'm just sort of watching the chat and things like that. But we did get a little bit of feedback on DLive. It said it provides coins for content creators and consumers.
There you go.
That watch the advertising content. So
DLive. Oh yeah. Okay. So there you go. DLive provides coins for content creators. Maybe we should put this over there. And for consumers that watch advertising content. And we should. I know. Let's advertise the shit out of this show. Wouldn't you all love that?
That'd be great. Just throw it on the Theta Network while we're at it too.
Okay. I don't know what half of this shit means, but okay, sounds good. Is that good or bad?
It's a good thing. Theta's the one that I mentioned that you said that you'd like to maybe take a look at. So.
Oh yeah, I think actually I did throw in some bids. Actually, maybe I should tell you whether I did any business. I do know there was a couple names I was bidding on there. Let's see. What am I trying to buy here? I was trying to buy open order. What was the one that I threw in there? That Clay, CLAY. That was that Korean name, eh? And actually, what's really interesting about that one, sorry to go off topic here, but get used to it. This is what Brian does. But CLAY. These cheeky buggers. Check this out. And I don't know, where did I do it? I can't remember whether I tried to do it first. Bitcoin. Yeah, here. Remember we were doing this and the coin dumped down into here? Remember that was when we did the show, and look at what happened afterward, eh? So the interesting thing is we basically were right on the forefront. They were dumping it into this bottom, getting ready for that pump. So that's fascinating. But I threw in my bid. Where am I bidding? I'm bidding 1456. And I think they saw my order and they went, there's no way we're going to get. So I am bidding. Right, check this out. This is crazy. 13. There's 36. Do you think it's an accident? This thing stopped where it did. Whoops. 14. What did I say? 36? 1456. I mean, look at that. That's where I was bidding. My order's still working there, and look at what they did today. Jerks. They wouldn't give me that damn fill, bastards. And the only reason why it stopped there was because probably my retail order was sitting there, and they did not want to give my retail order a fill. And that's so Trex. Keep in mind, it is damn difficult to outtrade these market makers at Trex. Don't get into the habit of trying to do it. They live for this shit. So they probably, hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if they knew that was my order there, and they're just messing around with me, just screwing with my head. That wouldn't surprise me at all either. Anyway, so it's just kind of interesting. That clay I really did like. Now I do remember there was a couple names that we had on that I really liked that we were talking about, but unfortunately I got kind of punched in the nose on that damn Binance. I don't know whether you're aware. I live in Canada. I live on the West Coast, and in the central part of our country is where sort of the financial headquarters is, and they came out and said no more Binance for Canadian citizens. So I had to kind of walk away from that. I don't really want to look at names that are on Binance because I can't buy them. I can't participate. So anyway, let's go back to what we're supposed to be talking about. I thought that was just kind of interesting. So this Bittorrent, as location goes, I think we're definitely there. I don't know whether that's enough for me to call a W. Brian, in fact, Nick, what do I say is the best way for you to sort of mentally picture whether a W is solid or not?
I must have skipped that video.
Uh-oh.
I thought it looked like a W.
Well, I mean, it does, but it's so quick and short. And, keep in mind, guys, most markets, when they bottom, they want to really
you did say you like a broader W.
Right?
Yeah,
you really
W.
want these markets to look like a saucer. But the rule is, maybe Nick write this down. Actually, maybe Derek, do you remember? What's the rule?
I don't recall what the W should...
Oh, boy, you guys are killing me, man.
I mean, I know what a W looks like, but I don't remember what the width.
Well, we said that maybe I gotta update the videos. Maybe I don't make it loud enough. But
the longer the run.
That's a narrow sideways channel, and it's not a Wyckoff check. We say, how do you tell whether a W is really solid or not? And the answer is, what would your grade 3 English teacher say? Where the hell did the damn YouTube be? I must... Give me a second. I just got to make sure I have it up and running here. There we are. We're over there. I'm just no background noise. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. We say that what would does this sound at all familiar to you guys? What would your Oh, you're killing me. Jeez. What would your grade 3 English teacher say if you went up to the chalkboard and you drew your W on the chalkboard? So when I look at this W right here, what I see is a low, a high, a low, and an up. Now, I mean, what's your grade 3 English teacher going to say? Yeah, what kind of mark is she going to give you for your calligraphy?
I mean, she would have just been happy I could draw at that point, but...
Okay. I mean, the point that I'm trying to make is that the more symmetrical your W looks like, the more solid the bottom is. And if anything, what we really want is we want a nice deep test of this low and a nice symmetrical breakout of that neck. That's the ultimate, most beautiful W around. And if it looks like this, then actually what it might be is it might be a little bullish harmonic pattern. A, B, C, D, something like that, where ironically enough, this point right here is actually what we call a P, R, D. That stands for what? I wonder who knows what that. Anybody know what that stands for? This is a level 3 concept. So I don't really like the level 1ers to be thinking about taking a trade here. If anything, in your level 1, you learned about extensions, and you know, it had you bought, say, down here, like off of this little Empire fractal. At this point, I actually want you thinking about taking profits. But ironically enough, in this scenario, this actually becomes a potential shorting location, and PRZ stands for potential reversal zone. And quite often, markets will M out there and then just puke out the other. So you don't really want to have too much confidence in this formation. And it'd be interesting just to look, just in the short term, how we did here. It might have come up to that level. Let's see what we got here. If you go to B, not quite. So couldn't quite get up there. I'd actually say it's got a little bit further to go here. And then once this actually does come out here, then I would actually be thinking about it. And really, can you see how this is really nothing more than just a underside kiss of this huge M here? See how it went up, down, up. Then it came down to that line and went, am I really a bear? Oh, geez, yeah, yeah, puke. All right, so clearly this is a huge level, right? Okay. So interesting how this ABCD is just going to push us up into that area. And then what happens there? And you know, the question, my hunch is it kind of rolls over like that. So that's why I don't like to call this really that good looking of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, notice how well defined this M is here. And also, too, watch what happens when you change this to like a clothesline. Look at that M. Up, down, up, puke out. Right? And actually, you could even argue on the clothesline it puked out here. This was just a head fake. And then the real dump came. So, you know, there's your... It's a higher high and higher low. But the problem here is that this is getting near done. And we really ought to test that low in earnest at some point. And in fact, you know, thinking good old Ron Jeremy, what happens if we get an M on the other side of this trend line? Like that right there. Uh-oh. That's actually a sell signal, isn't it? So, bit dangerous. Probably also, too, you know, for those that are real sharpshooters, you could probably... I don't really like this because we don't have structural floor in here yet. But, let's see. What's my favorite trade location tool using candlesticks? Does anybody have any idea? I get an A+. Way to go, D-Josh! So what's my favorite expression for a trade location when using candlesticks? Candle body highs and lows make for awesome trade location. So you notice, look at these candle bodies here. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that counter trend rally. The damn thing rallied right up into there and then just puked out and went the other direction. Eh? See that? I mean, damn. I mean, Ben, you want to learn how to trade? I mean, are you here to learn how to trade? You want a nice little tool to teach you how to make some fucking money trading?
Yes,
I mean,
please.
there it is right there, man. I mean, I don't know why more people don't write this shit down. I mean, that's fucking gold. So, if I'm thinking going forward, where do you think I'm thinking trade? How about right against these candle body lows? What do you think the odds are? And now, Nick, this is where you get to shine. What kind of concept would we maybe think that maybe this area down here could potentially be?
Probably a reload zone.
Oh, score. And sure enough, look how. Now we got 78.6 candle body lows. I've already got 2 reasons for a trade. And this is starting to look pretty compelling. So, you know, and actually we saw this happen today in gold. And it was kind of funny, the day traders in our community, right? We're watching it come down, and maybe I can just show you the chart. I don't know. Can we take a look at gold here for a moment? Are we allowed to do that? Or should we just stay on crypto? I'm going to do it anyway. It's my just kidding. How can you tell I got a little bit of wine in me, eh? Did have that nice casserole. Okay, this was an example where this morning we were watching to see how she was going to behave coming down into these lows. And the problem with gold, of course, is that it loves FU moves. I mean, it lives. And this is a summer market, which means that you're going to get lots of stop runs, liquidity hunts, blah, blah, blah. So we were sitting there conjecturing. This is a funny tale that happened pre-market. And we were wondering whether they had to go after these lows to get that liquidity pool. And that's exactly what they did. But we were just conjecturing that maybe we were going to hold in here. And you can see that as we were sitting there, the market came down into reload zone, came back down into these candle lows. But there's this weird looking tail in here. There's also these candle bodies down in here. So it's kind of sloppy. But you can see they slammed it into that level, and then we went into, all right, are we really going to bottom? And you can see I was like laser beam focused. If this had come down in here, held these lows, and turned back up, we were going to get like super bullish, but it just puked out hard. So now back to crypto. I could see the same sort of thing happen here. So you can see there's the candle body lows, there's that big tail. They're probably going to go after this liquidity pool. These guys right here, you know, people that came running in, and in our level 3 program we talk about stop management. I think this is probably a little too close. So mind you, maybe we got one. Okay, and maybe that might be a good one. So this is going to be a half decent like liquidity pool. They want to go flush some liquidity. There's probably going to be some stops below here. This is crypto though, so I don't know if there's that many stops. But nonetheless, there might be a lot of people that just say, look, if we break these lows, I just want to get out of here. And so I would be, if you're interested in this one, I would be watching it like a hawk in here. And then if we start getting that sort of 3-bar fractal kind of pattern coming out of here, especially off of the candle body lows, you might actually have a half decent trade in there. Probably also too, what we want to see is we want to see a nice momentum divergence. So you can see, you know, in this case we'd have price making lower lows. What we want to see out of our indicators is they're making lower lows on this move, but then on this move here they do not make a lower low. A divergence. And then if we can get some sort of W, then away you go. You actually get a half decent trade. So I could see people sort of laser beam focused down here. And the only kind of reason why I say that is I don't know whether number one, actually there's a couple reasons. Number one, they always say, and let's see if you guys can finish this sentence. Actually, I said it on the site the other day, so let's see if any of you were remembering. Never short A. Crickets.
I don't.
That's not good.
I don't know exactly what you said, but I would say. Never
Okay, I'll
short,
say again. Never short a 2 words.
It's like a lazy market or like a
Yeah, it was a
that's
phrase around
close.
I would say
low
something
volume.
like a market.
a dull market.
Hey, there
Dull
you
down
go.
market.
I mean,
Give that
you
guy a cigar. Cole got it. Oh, Richie got it. So anyway, the expression on Wall Street goes, never short a dull market. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, are we at the top end of a trading range or are we at the bottom end of a trading range? I mean, it looks to me like we're at the bottom end of the range, right? You know, this is so funny. This is the only business, I swear. Stuff goes straight up. I can't stop you people from buying. It's like, no, I don't know what the hell to do, right? I just got to buy, FOMO buy. Well, this is the same thing. It's going the other way now. If I asked 100 people on the street which direction this is going, they'd go, oh, this thing's going down. It's going off the board. I'd never invest in that. Well, shouldn't you take the exact opposite sort of reframe? If you're not supposed to buy here, then that means you are supposed to buy when it's like this. And that's the hardest part about this game. It drives you crazy. So, you know, I don't really know the story, and Mr. Sun, he's a character. I thought he was part of this one coin that I had, and for some reason I thought that he was in there, and I kept saying it. Everybody's like, Ryan, he's not part of that coin. I don't know why you keep making that reference, but oh well. It was fun saying his name. But other than that, I don't really know him that well, and I'm not, to be perfectly honest with you, oh, this is going to sound horrible, but hey, I just got to be true. I just have to be. I'm a Canadian. I am born and raised with Canadian ethics. I believe in things like a Bill of Rights. I believe in things like freedom of speech. I believe in equality. I believe in sexual equality, racial equality. I believe everybody is equal under God's eyes. It's simple as that. There is no one person that's better than anybody else in this world. We are all humans. We're all in this together. I've also learned over the past 10 years, and this is a very hard lesson for most people in this world to learn. I'm just going to say this, so I'm just going to just take it for whatever it's worth. Please try and learn this. If you concentrate on giving to the universe without reservation, no expectations for anything in return, it is absolutely remarkable what the universe. But I find too many people in our society are too focused on what do I get paid for? What do I get out of this? How can I steal your money? How can I scam you? How can I, take the easy road out? How do I, and of course, my net worth, my worth in other people's eyes is based purely on, superficial physical objects like cars and clothing. And, what's so funny is my wife used to, at one point we were trying to get her back off her, she suffered mental illness her whole life, so it was very hard for her to hold down a job. And she had one job for a while where she was actually going into people's houses and fixing up fire damage and stuff. And it was remarkable how people would come to Canada and they would literally live in empty houses. There wouldn't be any furniture on the floor. They would eat really poorly. There'd be like 10, 15 people in them but they had the house. And it was the outside facade of the house that was most important, and it was all about face. And I'm fearful that there is a huge portion of this world that is moving towards that sort of that lifestyle, that idea that it's okay to fuck over your fellow man if it's in the pursuit of material gain. And more importantly, if you are taken advantage of by another person, well, it's your fault for being a fool and for being an idiot, which I unequivocally disagree with. I've been playing this capitalist game for 50 years, well, 30 years plus, professionally. I guess 35, 40, if you count my childhood love. And if it's one thing I've learned is that these human beings are nasty motherfuckers. And they will steal your money from you if you let them. I think that's half the reason why half of the regulation in the world exists, is to try and keep these motherfuckers from stealing your money, because they'll take it from you right in front of your eyes. And the worst part about it is a huge part of our society now says, well, if you let me take your money from you, well, it's your fault. And I really, really disagree with that approach to this human experience. So as a result, when it comes now, I'm looking at OMG. This has absolutely nothing to do with this particular story. But what I don't like, what I'm hearing about is, things, I think our West is actually trying to separate sort of Eastern participation in the market and Western participation. And I think, things like this Binance exchange, how Canada is basically getting frozen out of it. And I think the UK, they're under attack. I think they're trying to sort of exert more of those kind of pressures. But here in Vancouver, I live with this acutely because basically Vancouver's turned into a Chinese. And also too Indian, and wow, you just go around the city and people are so unhappy now. It's so un-Canadian here. But anyway, that's here nor there. Problem is that I can't trust these people. I couldn't trust Justin to be thinking. How ironic! Same thing in Canada, ironic, but. Actually, believe it or not, the guy in Canada here, Justin, I think I could trust him that he's not going to, purposely fuck me over. But when it comes to dealing with these Chinese entrepreneurs and capitalists, I can't believe anything that they tell me. I'm from Missouri. You got to show me first. And unless I see in hard writing value, I have a very, very hard time participating. And that's just Brian's rant. Sorry to have to do that to everybody, but I've said my piece. Having said that, if you are interested in this story, if you know Justin, if you know the story, if you feel like there's value, this is a name that I would consider quote-unquote nibble-worthy. If we look at things like momentum, my hunch is we're probably going to start getting bullish momentum divergences developing in here. Yep, there they are. You can see Kevin, Kavarkanator, he'd be all over this. And really the question is, I think, as we said with trendline breaks, it's just a question of, can I see a W for me to get really jazzed? I mean, I can understand you coming in just dollar cost averaging, great location, it's cheap, you're not chasing, but I think the last part of this is there's just no structure here for me to work with. Give me a nice big fat W, which probably means a trade up through this high here. What is that? 0.0029. So let's call it 0.003. If we could get actually a nice dip into the reload zone here, this hold, I mean, if you're really awesome, you can go in and zip in and do that. But my hunch is actually the easiest trade is just to wait for this thing to break and close above that level and rock and roll. So kind of early. Okay location. I have no idea why I would participate in this other than you happen to know Mr. Sun, you know his plan, and you like the story, and you believe in him, and you trust him, and you want to participate. I don't know the story. I don't know the person, where they are in the world. I couldn't trust them, as far as I could throw them, so I just won't even try to do that. And as a result, that probably means that I just want to not bother. I've got so much money to put into the market. No, that's the wrong. I've got only so much money to put into the market. I can find tons of names where I can put money into it that I don't have to take this kind of Chinese currency or Chinese risk, if you will. So I would prefer not. That's just me. So there you go. I'll add this to the spreadsheet. I don't even know whether that's even found it. So now you guys, that was one hell of a long rant. Tell me whether you are interested in it.
That's okay. I mean, at this rate, we'll get through everything in 7.5 hours.
No, I'm not too interested. And even if I was, I couldn't get it anyway. Like in terms of exchanges and that type of thing. So that even helps my decision even more.
Okay. Yeah, and I have a feeling that's going to happen for a lot of us in the West. So like Ben, you're down in Miami. I don't know whether you can even buy this or not.
Right, I think I might have seen it on Bittorrent.
Yeah, but was it on the international one or the US one?
That would have been the US.
Oh, okay.
Bittorrent, yeah.
Okay, so you could take a stab at it there.
Possibly, yeah. I'd have to have a look into it again.
And
but,
and do you know this story? Do you know Justin?
Yeah. Oh, he always pops up every now and then, different stories, and yeah. I don't know him personally,
Okay.
but yeah. I mean, I part of my attitude towards everything in this space is that I don't know anyone, and so there's a potential that I could lose anything that I invest here, right? Especially if it's unregulated. So, yeah, it's a risk.
Keep those bets nice and small.
Participating.
Then, eh?
Yeah.
Keep those bets nice. Okay, so if anything, Nick, sounds to me like you just volunteered for the stopwatch crew. And if you got a bell or a gong or something after 5 minutes of me ranting, that's not a bad idea to hit that because, as you said, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Sorry, everyone.
I don't know. Last week when I hit the bell a couple times, you kind of looked into that. You kind of looked into that webcam and was like, you might not be back next week.
No, never. I never do that. Are you kidding me? I put up with Julia for 7 years. There's no fucking way I like that.
I did like what you said about kind of you don't like the story of the people behind it because, like, of course, me being a good level 1 student, I'm not trading during these 13 weeks. So I'm just putting together a list of like all of the top FA coins that I like from a fundamental perspective. And that's going to be my universe.
That's exactly what you should do. Perfect. Well said. And if you don't know the story, maybe we perked your interest, but by all means, if you don't know the story, do some research in. Okay, Safe Moon. What the heck
Speaking
is this?
of really strong fundamental coins, this is not one of them. This.
So here's another one of these BSC scans. So this is another one of these Binance coin names.
Well, if you look over on the right, you can see there's a maximum supply of 1 quadrillion coins.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's not a million. It's not a billion. It's not a trillion.
God.
It is I believe, a quadrillion, if I did my commas right. This
Have
is
fun putting that in your calculator. This
is a meme coin that started. It might have started early this year. I don't know when it started, but it went crazy. It has no value, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what I would say is probably the next step is they have to be valuing it in Doges, eh? So I don't know whether do you guys were you in crypto when they were trading them in Doge versus Doge? I think last cycle they were doing that a bit on Yobit and stuff. If you run out of Sats on BTC, you jump to Doges, right? And then you can trade them in Doges. So Shane, he used to always joke about that, but I do see it's trading at 1 BNB. So that must be like the most minimalist quote you could possibly. So I mean, what do you say about something like this? I mean, where are the insiders long? Is anybody even an insider? How do you even figure out what the hell value is?
I mean, it's supposedly one of those fair launch coins where there are no insiders. I don't really believe that, but that's one of the gimmicks.
How long has this thing been around?
I don't think it's been around long.
I think about as long as PancakeSwap's been around. Well,
somebody actually got
April 21.
Oh, somebody got. Oh, so this is tied up with PancakeSwap?
Yeah, I think it's there's definitely like you can purchase it on PancakeSwap. That's one of the main places to get it.
It's only been around since March, April timeframe. So I mean, you're not gonna.
It's only been around since March, April?
Yeah.
It's brand new. Yeah.
So they just blast a gazillion coins out into the marketplace? Like, who holds these?
Yeah, I don't know. It had like a semi-celebrity. Dave Portnoy was shilling it.
Oh, no, not that guy.
That guy.
Man. So if anything, if he was coming in, he was probably coming in at the top, eh?
Yeah, it seemed like it. Yep.
Oh boy, that's too bad.
They do seem to have some like an amazing marketing arm, because
Yeah.
it's, I don't know if you're on Twitter or any social media, but they just seem to blow up your phone, and people like posting all these comments of this is how you buy SafeMoon, and
Yeah, and that in
it's everywhere.
itself, right?
That's scary.
You remember? Do any of you own Dash? How's
Speaking
that
of, we're going
going?
to talk about that soon.
Oh, okay. And a lot of people they talked about how well that was marketed, and Amanda did a great job. But so what? Years later, it's data of it. So if anything, that's really dangerous, right? You know, if anything, when it comes to investing in this stuff, you want to invest in the guys who are the eggheads, the guys who don't get the chick, the guys who are socially really awkward and they actually can't really talk very well to the public. Those are the guys you want to invest in. You don't
I was going to say, maybe we should leave SafeMoon then and talk about the next couple coins, because those were, I don't know the people, but I'm imagining they were built by some pretty smart people.
All right, so technically speaking, since I don't have that much data on this, I suppose you could draw your reload zones off of that range. I mean, it does look like we're down near the bottom end of the range. The fact that there's so many coins out here, I wouldn't really be that interested. If anything, you know, I can see trend line breaks, wait for your W's on the other sides of trend lines. You want to flip this, kind of like Doge. I mean, the irony of it all is that long time, all we used to say was buy Doge below, 30 sats, and you can flip it on 100, 200 sats yearly. So, you know, when this thing does get down to the bottom and it'll accumulate, there'll probably be 50% bounces or whatever. But, you know, because of the amount of supply outstanding, and now what I'm hearing from you guys is this is just basically a really well orchestrated shill. That's the kind of stuff I want to avoid. Like what I want to hear is, options to directors, low share count, shares for debt. Really all the boring stuff that marketers hate. You know, like marketers love, like Gene Simmons coming. Marketers love Snoop Dogg. Right? Marketers love when they make those silly videos. Dog money, all that kind of stuff. Marketers hate people like me. Hate people like me with passion. So I'm going to have to say way too much supply. No idea why. And if anything, the fact that it's up in this sort of very high echelon of cryptocurrencies, to me, says that, it's been fully marketed. Not interested, not interested, not interested. Right across the board. Ben, we couldn't even get your interest here, eh?
Yeah, not this one.
Okay. All right, moving on. AVAX. So I saved some time there for us there, Nick. AVAX. Now, it's interesting because we have one site gentleman, Dave out of UK. Love him to pieces. It was great having a beer with him over in London. Consummate gentleman. If you are watching tonight, best wishes to Benj and the wife. And he had a fun list about a year or so ago. And let's try crypto. And I think he had it on his list. And I keep going by this darn thing, daily basis. Always wondering what the hell this day. So, like I said, this is half the reason why I did this show. And I want to figure out what the hell these things are. So, gentlemen, this is your moment to shine. I think this is AVAX. Can you tell me what the hell do these guys do? And why would Dave like them so much?
Ben or Derek, do you want to go or you want me to?
Go for it.
Yeah, so AVAX is a smart contract blockchain competitor to Ethereum and Cardano and Polkadot and all those others. Supposedly really, really fast. It has really fast transaction finality, like just a couple seconds, I think. It's built by some really smart people. I mean, it's built by more, I think, like what's the word for it? Like education people. Like it was, I think, founded by a guy that taught at Cornell. But yeah, it's gotten a lot. It hasn't. Well, it had a really good run at the start of this year. The ecosystem itself, though, I don't think has quite taken off how a lot of people had hoped it would. So I mean, it's definitely an ecosystem that I'm looking at for the rest of the year if there's any coins that come out of there that start getting some traction. But it seems to be a pretty good competitor in the smart contract ecosystem.
Okay. Derek?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing, I mean, other than sort of the speed of the blockchain, I'm not seeing much. I mean, I do see a lot of development going on the chain in terms of like work being done on the actual protocol and stuff like that. I know it was like earlier in the last sort of, I guess, last part of the bull run, it seemed like it was getting a lot of attention back there in what April time frame. So, but I mean, I don't know of anything
So
other
you
than
guys in the
what Nick mentioned.
States, one of our Californians is can't touch.
Oh,
You guys allowed to buy this thing?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let me see what exchanges it's on.
There's
Yeah, he's
Binance
right. It's
here.
on well, it says it's on Bittrex. But I don't know. Sometimes Bittrex lists things, and I've went on there, and I actually couldn't
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
up charts or whatever. So it might be one of those cases. So
Could be.
it's good info.
Yeah, that's it. I wonder if are we allowed to play on that chain, or is it just that there aren't any exchanges we can use to buy it? Because I've definitely used a bridge to get some money over to Avalanche. It's no longer there, but that's interesting. I wasn't aware that. I wonder if we're banned or if we just don't have an exchange we can buy it directly on.
And that's an interesting question unto itself. Is if these like Binance US and Trex US and stuff, is that really saying that you guys are not allowed to be on those exchanges buying those assets, or you're just not allowed to own those assets at all? I mean, can you not go through DeFi and grab like wrapped products of these that are sort of equivalents?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, that's
of,
sort of we're
gray
looking for the
area.
regulation, right? I mean, there's nobody's told us, right? So in my opinion, the way I operate is, I mean, yeah, if it's on an exchange that I can't get on, then I won't mess with it. But if I have a means to get it, then I will, And I don't
I
know.
think
That's just how.
that's a big conundrum that these regulators have, because it's really easy to just shit on these centralized exchanges, but the whole DeFi thing, it's really going to throw these regulators. Anyway, it'd be really interesting to see how that develops. I mean, I'm not hearing fundamentals. I gotta run out and get this thing. Probably what I'm hearing is, if it happens to be in your wheelhouse and you know the story and you'd like to participate, well, this is another great example where it just pays to be patient and disciplined and wait for these crazy reload zones over time. Hate to say it, but this is kind of like that example we talked about there a few minutes ago. Can you guys kind of see how this thing probably is going to form some sort of saucer bottom here? And my hunch is that this thing really, it's probably, ironically enough, going to go something like boot through here, then up to here, and then it'll come back down to here, and it will only be a buy when we actually bottom on the other side of this trend line. I think that's actually not a bad sort of prognostication of how this go over there. Probably also too, we do have pretty solid market structure up here. So if I was going to draw sort of trading ranges, that to me, top. So there's your reload zone. What a coincidence. You can see Mountain Man's basically sitting right up there against that trend line. So there's a major brick wall right up in here. Look left as well. You can imagine all these people that bought in here. If we can get back into this area, man, they would love to be able to get. Probably also too, you know, sexy trade location. If we got like a stab that stabbed up into there, that would just be a sick level. You see how that candle body high kind of concept works? Actually, look at it there, and maybe I should do. And boom, and boom, boom, there. How are I doing on that stopwatch, Nick? So you can see, huge brick wall up in here. I mean, could you trade this up into here and make some good money? Yeah, that's a triple. Is it something that I'd probably be interested in? Probably not. If I saw, remember grade 3 English teacher, you can kind of see how steep this is. This looks a little dangerous. But if we could pull back against that low and then turn back up, and there is your W that satisfies that grade English teacher. So if we got something that looked like that, cool. But, you know, ironically enough, based on this curve, I got a funny feeling there's a trap being. And, you know, I think I heard from Derek earlier. He's looking for, I think, what is it, 5,000 Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken? No, 25,000. Right?
25.
I'm the one looking for 5. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Sorry. All right, so point here is I wouldn't be surprised if there's one more FU here. This looks it looks too prime. You know, maybe we do something like that. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So I don't know whether I'd really call that a bottom. Do you see how that's not really the best looking W? And the worst part about it is these M's. Look how crisp that M. Ugh. You know, like this right here. This is horrible. You hate to see this. This is such a big brick wall. Because now, you know, this right in here, if we change that to a line chart. All right, look at all those M's. Oh my goodness. Duke Central. So, is that the bottom? That's tough. I don't think so. Momentum divergences. You know, usually when I see this, I hate this when MACD does this. Right? You can kind of see it here. You see how it goes down, right? Violent up, violent down, then up, then kind of wishy-washy, and then puke out. So you can see we did it again. So up, then violent down, and then wishy-washy, and there's going to be at some point a test of this. And my hunch is maybe that comes in. So it's not enough for me to get really technically bullish. The great part about this, though, this is a great part about the market now. Like I said, a few months ago, no way in hell. I mean, I couldn't even stop you people from buying. You were buying everything, and I couldn't say anything to stop you people. At least now, we're not in that type of market now. And when the W's start coming in, you can start seeing the breakouts, and all the indicators start Wing out and start rocking and rolling. Oh, okay. I don't think we're quite there yet, but this isn't a terrible location. I'm going to leave it at that. Good location. I don't know the story well enough, and I'm a little bit worried that I'm actually not legally allowed to buy. All right, how am I doing on the stopwatch?
Perfect.
Okay.
I don't know if you believe that, but
I'll take it. Interesting to watch how much is being built on it. So you like the fundamental story that around this thing.
Yeah, Derek had a good point that I forgot to mention. There are a lot of people building on it. It's up there with like the Solanas of the world, where it just seems like everyone is trying to build on it. There's a lot of people building on Avalanche, and so I think there will be some good opportunities there if, say, the layer 1 solutions, which are all these Avalanche, ETH, Polkadot, etc., If they start running again at some point and we get a little segment run with the layer ones, if Avalanche starts going, you can expect that a lot of the coins on the ecosystem will go. So
yeah, like I don't like you guys, Ben, have you gotten to know guys like Farmer Dave on the site?
I haven't got to know him, but I've watched some of his daily
Oh,
brief specials, and he's
motherfucker,
the beast.
Eh? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. So he's coming in hard. I think he's expecting, mind you, you know, he came in hard. Let's put it this way: he came in hard a few days ago, and he's already starting to bang out some huge wins. So it's just interesting to, and actually that RLC, I love RLC. It looks like it's starting to turn back up. I don't know whether Ben, you remember, but when I did that interview with Da Vinci way back when, that was one of the names I really back in. That was like early 2019, and I got lucky.
Right. Yeah. No, I got a double up it. Thanks for that.
Oh,
Appreciate
good.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you Farmer Dave's latest one. Oh, here he is. What's he got here? Oh no. All right, so here's one that he said. This was one that he was showing on the daily brief that's already popping for him. Look at that volume pattern. Okay, you people on YouTube, you want more free information? Oscar, you already know this, but grab this fucking screen share. Look at this volume pattern. When you see that, do you see Ben? Or not Ben. Nick. You just did the volume impetus module. Can you understand the volume signal that came in down here? And actually it came in not this candle, the fucking candle that went crazy, but it came in on this candle here. Can you see the volume impetus signal there? It's really hard to see.
I mean, they definitely woke up. There's a bit of a W there on the...
Actually right here.
volume.
That's where the bulls woke up, right there. That was, and actually that's right in off that double bottom. So that double bottom breakout was on rising volume too. And then also too, you see they have that down day. So there was obviously sellers that came out and were like, sell, this is a piece of shit, sell it. But they didn't even show up. Do you see how the bears just didn't show up there? Look how small that red bar is there. You can barely see it. It's a great analogy of bullish volume impetus. So anyway, this is typical. This is one of our site members, Farmer Dave.
Alpha's a good coin.
Huh?
I like Alpha. Alpha's a good
Alpha,
coin.
yeah, that's what he's in. And if anything, you know, maybe we get Farmer Dave to come on in here and tell us which.
Do your own research, though, everyone. Obviously.
Okay, or not.
Well, I mean, everyone.
Yeah, no, I hear you. If anything, you're the one talking responsibly, and I'm the one talking who's had a couple glasses of wine. So there you go. Okay, let's keep moving this train forward. Compound, C-O-M-P. I think this one popped up here recently, didn't it?
Yeah, I think you might have talked about it. I think
the
BTC chart looked really good.
Oh.
Somebody on the site said that.
Yes, I remember somebody talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's already doubled. I think since the bottom.
All right, and what's the story here?
Comp for a while was the premier lending program or product protocol of crypto until Aave kind of overtook it.
Wow.
But it's a lending borrowing platform similar to an Aave.
Look at that double bottom right off 78.6. That's just evil. And if you guys are here to learn how to trade, that's the shit right there. Also, too, notice how it slammed back down basically into value. Really the big node of value. All we've done is just rally back up to value high. So in a weird sort of way, you can kind of see there's like two nodes here. And this is what we call double distribution. So right now, the market probably, ironically enough, will ultimately want to settle right in here and fill in this file. So that's that would be my prognostication. If anything, this probably is like an inverted head and shoulders kind of thing. So that would mean that that's key support there, which is, basically, Ben, what do we call that? Where the market comes down and tests the original market back up?
Whack up check.
Thank you. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of trade is in our future, especially if, we saw like the corn and stuff roll. And I suppose you could argue there is reload zones right back against that notch. So this is a really good, Derek, yeah, from your level 2. Do you see how this notch right here on the profile is a good trade location indication?
Yes.
And then, of course, we got the original structure. We have 78.6 off of the entire range. Hell, I mean, it's not really the best, but I suppose you could even argue that these are market structure W's here. All and we used to say, I used to ask you guys, look left kind of thing when the market sell-off is happening. Where's the market going to bottom? So that level right there was key support, and you notice they brought the market into this area here. And that was the end of the selling. So clearly cheap, good location. Now take a screenshot of that. Beautiful analogy of everything that I try and teach you guys how to do. Gotta somehow just force yourself not to come in all fucking crazy apeshit bullish up here. Draw your reload zones and then just wait for the trade to develop. And what's so weird about trading is, ironically enough, the trades, they develop so prettily. So I do think that this is a trade that is developing, and I wouldn't be surprised if, over the next maybe, keep your eyes peeled. That wouldn't be a bad. Yeah, so I do remember people on the site were talking about this nice rally, and I mean, hell, what the hell? That's $200-300 all the way up to $500. Ironically enough, just buying that reload zone, you already got yourself a risk-free trade. And I'd probably also say too, and actually this would be a good question for Nick. We were thinking about targets on the way up. What's the first fib that we should be thinking, looking for this sort of rally, take part of this range?
The 38.2.
Right, so let's see what happened there. 38.2, doink. So you can see market zipped up into that level, was above here, and went, nah, I don't think so. And so, great example of 38.2. Is, we're asking, is this still a bear, or are we going to range, start heading back up? So if that's the case, probably going to do a 38.2 going the other way. And sure enough, that's these moving averages. So I would actually say right now, I would put on funny little cat gifs. Let's see if I can show you my funny little cat gif. I would call this reload zone ping pong. I would put on this image.
That's definitely the section of the library I've learned the most from.
Or as they're going through the 38.2, asking if this is a trend or a range. Let's see if I can find. Anyway, I had on another one where all the characters from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Oh, no. Oh, well. They all sort of looking at each other, and then the cats all look at each other. I just found that. So anyway, that's the kind of market state that we're in right now. Everybody's sort of asking, okay, what do we do next? This is what they call a dead cat bounce. Boing. Can we get a copy paste of the link to the spreadsheet? Yeah. Honestly, I don't really want to give that out. That's our good stuff inside. If you're a site member, you can PM me on the site and I'll give you a copy of it. But I don't really want to just be handing it out. Mr. Philson, PM me on the site. So I think we're sort of caught and interesting. We're right at the POC as well. So Mr. Hoagland, he would hate this as a trade location. Because we could very easily go up to value high here, maybe even go after a liquidity pool up top if Bitcoin's feeling better. We could also come right back down to value low. And this is probably a really good example where Mr. Hoagland, seeing the original market structure, seeing the inverted empire, seeing he's down below value, seeing that that is basically a reload zone, that to me, and actually it was interesting in the day traders this morning. I even said, I'm sitting on enough money right now in my life, I don't have to trade. So what I do is I just simply wait for, just setups that just look absolutely pristine. Where it's kind of like there's this old stock market guy, I can't remember his name is. He used to always go, I only trade when I can look over in the corner, see a big pile of money just sitting there, and all I got to do is just walk over and pick it up. So this would be an example of that, where if I waited for the market to come back down, then it started to put in nice W's, and then, you hear, see massive volume green candles like we showed you on that other name I was just talking about a few minutes ago. And I'd be like, well, I'd be an idiot not to buy that level. And actually a lot of stocks, that's basically how I perform. So right here, there's nothing really for me to do. Want to buy? Okay, well, maybe take a look at it down in this area. And if I wanted to sell, there's just nothing here. This is not really the best trade location for shorts. That would be up here. And I don't even really have a signal. All we've done is just gone straight up off of these lows. This would be, in my opinion, an example where the expression pullbacks are buying opportunity. That's probably the way that. Okay, where's our spreadsheet? I will say pullbacks are buying opportunity. But the sad thing for this is if I was going to go into the DeFi space and all that, there's a name that one of the TRI principals has fallen in love with, so it'd be very hard for me to go and buy this and not buy his idea. You guys know what it is?
Just buying more Luna?
Yeah. So, if anything, I would almost be excommunicated by Stewart if I went and started buying these things instead of buying Terra and all their different products. So, I'm going to say can't buy due to conflicts of interest over Luna. And I don't have an actual conflict of interest. I'm being Oh, by the way, I got stabbed yesterday. I don't know whether you guys got stabbed yet, so I start to get lighthearted here, or lightheaded. Please forgive me. Maybe that's half the reason why I'm acting so weird. Right. Okay, let's see what we got here. Semi-interested FA, same as other lending platform. TA, not the best location. Oh, you don't like that location? Didn't I give you a pretty good sales pitch? I guess right here it's not really that.
Yeah, not at the park.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Excellent. Mr. Hey, John, if you're watching, I doubt it, but if you're watching, I got a guy to subscribe to your newsletter. And did you ever get to meet the Hogue? Derek, I should take you over to Top Step. I think everybody at TRI should at least meet the Hogue because he does a morning show at Top Step every morning to get people ready. Did you ever participate in that?
No, I didn't, but I think I saw that he does do a morning show, and I didn't even know if that was actually him or not. But I saw Top Step and I saw some live broadcast. But I guess that's.
Yeah, well, Daniele and Karen, they're like, screw it, man. We want to do our own prop firm. They were the ones that used to always post the Top Step morning. And And like, John would be like, "Holy shit, where are all these people coming from?" And they were all TRI people. And John would always, "Oh, hey Brian, how's it going?" And I'll try to like keep sending us people, please. Thank you, we love you. Okay. Oh Jesus. Here we go. Is this a food coin? Is this officially a food coin, Nick?
So, I mean, it technically is a food coin, but I don't treat it as most food coins. I actually like sushi.
This is like
Sushi swap.
one of the first food coins, wasn't it? Back when they started launching food coins.
Yeah, it was, I believe, pretty much just a rip of Uniswap for the most part, and then they've developed a lot off it since then. But yeah, SushiSwap is another decentralized exchange that started on Ethereum. It's been branching out to some other chains. They have a lot of active development.
Polygon scan, and I know you're a big fan of that Polygon.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap to play there, and it's pretty much everything you can do on Ethereum. So yeah, I like to play there.
BCS scan. That's a good old Binance guy.
Yeah, it seemed like it had a really fast track to getting listed on Binance too. So it was like, it almost felt like as soon as it came out, it was listed where, a lot of other coins have to wait some time and that type of thing. And, so I don't know if there's a connection, more of a connection there or what, but I do recall that once this launched, it basically was on Binance fairly quickly. So
yeah, what was the one that we were talking about last week that was sort of Binance? Pancake, right? So do these guys Pancake and Sushi, do they compete?
So I've never used SushiSwap on, I don't know if they're on, well, I've used it on Ethereum. I don't know if they're probably on Binance Smart Chain, but I view it as more of a Uniswap competitor than a Pancake Swap competitor, mainly just because I play mostly on the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay. So I guess the question is you're using Pancake, Sushi, all these and Uniswap. You're using their platforms to do other stuff.
You're essentially using them to swap tokens. They're like a Bittrex but decentralized, or like a Coinbase, but and so users will supply liquidity to liquidity pools, and that's used to swap. So you usually get rewarded in some way to provide liquidity into these token pairs.
Yeah, that's been the big sales pitch.
yeah, they have the full gamut of services. It's yields and lending and borrowing and leverage and all that type of stuff. And
So is this decentralized or is it centralized?
This is decentralized.
So that's a good thing, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Be interesting to see if a guy like Farmer Dave. I don't even know where he does most. Oscar says he likes Uniswap a lot better. I don't know whether you guys have a preference. Have you guys actually like gone and shopped and said, Sushi's got these features and benefits. Uniswap has these features and benefits. Is there sort of like a comparable like shopping list that if I was this type of consumer, I'd go to this particular decentralized swapping platform versus?
I think so. I think definitely if you're looking at more of the yield farming aspect, I think different like Sushi and Uniswap are a little similar, but Sushi has some more options. Like platforms like Bancor offer some really neat liquidity provision. So it's a little bit more there, but honestly, if I'm swapping, I will just literally open up 3 tabs. I'll put in the pair that I want to swap, and I'll look at what has the lowest slippage percent. So the amount of essentially whatever has more liquidity, I'm going to use that protocol because then I keep the majority or the most amount of my money.
Okay, so you're kind of like decentralized exchange agnostic. Not really, doesn't really.
To me, for the most part, if I'm just swapping, no.
Eric, any comments?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, I would say that, and I'm sure Farmer Dave could speak to this a lot more intelligently, but I mean, the yield farming is probably where you would want to have sort of the most diversity and other coins and access to different networks and that type of thing. So once you start staking things and you take those coins and you put them somewhere else and get yield and all that stuff. So
Okay.
it seems like it has, I mean, I'm looking at the page here right now and it looks like it has access to some of the more, I guess, popular yield farming networks too. So it seems like it has a good diverse set of, I guess, yield farming capability as well, right?
I
In
think
addition.
I was chatting, or I saw a comment somewhere where somebody was saying, well, don't discount a lot of shit. I mean, half the problem with me is that I'm an old man. I take path of least. And I tried to do like the waves platform with like the 13 phrase thing last cycle. I think I probably lost a Bitcoin. So I've been very leery. But if anything, I've kind of like leaned on Secord and his love of. I can see the value in being diversified and having sort of like being able to shop the various different exchanges for the best rate, because yeah, I can see the value in that. But
I mean,
this
for
is
me,
not
this
centralized, right? Like the whole problem with the Bitcoin one is that it's completely centralized.
with which one you saying?
Pancake Swap, isn't that the Binance?
That being centralized.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that what you're getting
like
at?
these guys
Yeah.
are decentralized, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But the Binance guys, they're basically this, but they're a centralized.
Yeah.
Decentralized.
And just to be fair, I do love Polygon, but you can make an argument that Polygon is more like Binance Smart Chain than it is Ethereum. It is still more centralized. It's got like a 5 out of 8 multi-sig for decisions and stuff. So it's not perfect, but
Okay. Okay.
I mean, for me, the whole sticking point with like the DeFi right now is just, especially with Ethereum, is just the fees. I mean, I get it what they're doing and all that, but a lot of times if you're not,
well, what is it
it
that
being
they're doing?
well, I mean, just the gas fees are high, right? So if
Yeah, but
you're
you say, I get it, I know what they're doing. I don't get it. What are they doing?
I mean, in terms of like,
I don't think
um,
Vitalik likes the fact that the gas fees are high.
well, no, I'm saying in terms of like, swapping coins and all that. But what's keeping me out of sort of, getting more deeply involved in some of the DeFi stuff is the gas fees, and that is for me, especially in this like sort of a new environment where you don't really know, like you just want to play a little bit, like it makes it sort of difficult to do that unless you're throwing around enough money for where it makes sense, right? Because a lot of times the gas fees would be more than you're willing to sort of risk, right? And so
absolutely.
for me, that's one of the problems.
But that's why you can send $200, $100, $50 over to Polygon. You can play with Aave, Curve, Sushi Swap, like all of these. There's a lot of platforms that are built out there now. Obviously, not all of them that are on ETH, but you can still get your feet wet and play with the Ethereum blockchain essentially for free. A transaction costs less than a penny.
All right. I mean, that's understandable. And then at the end of the day, what are you foregoing when you do you give a shit whether C's could manipulate? I mean, maybe you're in and out so fast you don't.
Well, I've made my bed with Polygon, but I do not trust CZ.
Okay.
That being said, though, there are other layer 2 scaling solutions coming out very shortly, Arbitrum and Optimism and some other roll-up solutions. So there will be other really, really cheap ways to interact with Ethereum soon. Like this calendar year, definitely.
I've been betting the farm here on Ubiq. So my proxy on Ubic. So if that happens, I'm made.
Nick, I think there was a Crypto Chico episode where he talks about how Matic's security is based on Binance. You might want to look into that. Because so Polygon is backed by the Binance security. I'd have to look into it a little bit more myself, but I think he's made an episode on that.
There you go.
Yeah.
1 + 1 = 3. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so where do we go with this thing? What I'm hearing is if you want to use the decentralized exchange, great, awesome. Is this a product that you'd actually buy to speculate on? Or how that works? I would imagine early adopters. We've seen a lot of these DeFi names. They're just absolutely. What do you think we should look at this thing? I suppose Binance, right? You got.
Binance just has a good job usually of having good history in TradingView. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So technically, I mean, no offense, but this thing looks like. Reload zones, but just sloppier than. Grade 3 English teachers, changes to. Anything, as I've said to you guys repeatedly, this thing won't be online. Oh boy, look how shallow. That might be ever.
So that'll be 2030 or
be.
the
Might be. Keep in mind, I think I've told you guys, like 2022, 2020. I am not very optimistic. Whether you guys are aware of that or not. Careful. Ironically enough, you look at a lot of the last cycle, what they have to do is bottom kind of. Does this? I could see that. So, probably a little too early technically to be. But, I suppose, resistance, if you were thinking about trying to alongside here, there is. It is reload zone. I love this name. And hell, if you were short off the top and you were covering, I could see a dead cat bounce. First stop target, 32 is probably a good. Also, too, notice here that I guess is the 200 period. That's going to be resistance. Notice, remember we said, M's and W's, so there's a big M. There is basically a whole bunch of trap bulls that were really, really bullish. You know that they. And then, the default sort of level that we should all use as technicians. Keep us honest is good old WD Gann and 50% rules, and he's sitting right there at 40 quarter. So, actually we've seen a few names like this. I suppose if you're really jazzed, you're like totally gung-ho, you could probably draw a reload. Just say, look, if it does come down into this level, and we can get some sort of sign of a turn down, maybe you want to take a shot. Right now, one thing I'll say is if we M out below this trend line, look at it. Pretty now. Probably, yeah. See how that lines up with reload zone. So if we lose this trend line, we're going to dump right into this one. Again, because we're in green boxes, this isn't exactly like sorting location. Wouldn't want to be like aggressively selling down in here. Just a question of where the hell and how long. There's your image. Not really too excited. Probably going to sit. And interestingly enough, we might even find how that goes. Could I buy that there? No. Would I sell that there? No. But I do like reload zones within reload zones. They're always fun. Your eyes peeled down here at
Hey, Brian, I think that noise gate we put on your OBS, I think your volume is dropping enough when you're talking so that you're kind of dropping out a little bit.
Oh, shitty. All right.
So I don't know if we want
voice
to.
is cutting out for me too. Maybe I just remember how we did that.
Yeah, it was in the
There's
audio effects,
there
the
was
filters.
Like 2 win
Filters, and then you should just be able to hit the button to disable it.
noise gate. I don't have the fan on that.
Yeah, we can just try without it.
A little bit better. Any better there over there on YouTube? Same volume cutting out every few seconds. Well, it should be okay. Hello, hello. Actually, it's interesting. I can hear my fan on your guys. Use the noise suppression, not noise gate. Ah. Evan. Noise gate. Here you wish. Okay, noise gate is gone. Usually it says like apply, so I don't know whether that's still applying it or not. Any better over there, guys? Oh yeah, I can see my volume doesn't cut out. Now it's picking up the fan. Keep topping for us to tell us the difference. So I was down in LA and I met these, actually I went to, it was kind of an interesting bar. I have no idea where the hell is. Welcome back, Skytrain. Skytrain. Still cutting out, eh? Much better though. Wade Wilkins says much better. You can hear the Skytrain now in the background. Oh, there you go. All right. Alec Bentley says we're good to go. Oh, and maybe if you wouldn't mind, hit the... oh, geez, there's only like 30 people over there. Well, isn't that interesting? I guess we don't get that many viewers of this. But hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Actually, the fan isn't that loud on my Bose headphones. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I had the air conditioner on because it was so hot here earlier, but I just have the fan on now. So.
That's good though. Wait until they're all concentrating on fixing the audio, then get them to like and subscribe.
Ah, there you go. Hey, I did fix it, so please. And as I said, if you're getting any value out of this, actually maybe I didn't, but the whole reason why I wanted to do this, aside from getting a good research piece that the site can use, and getting to know these three gentlemen, I think they're great people to get to know. I wanted to try and build a little TRI booth in Decentraland, and hell, I mean it's expensive now. So if you are finding some value and you'd like to give back as sort of a way of appreciation, I think I've included the Ethereum address in this description. And actually, we had someone last week even put out a tweet, "Hey, you broke our cherry, thank you," who made a small donation. So we're actually moving towards that ultimate goal. And as soon as I get enough mana, I'm going to go buy a little booth for TRI. And I'm just going to have these kind of videos just running 24/7 in Decentraland. Wouldn't that be cool? I think that'd be a great idea. You know? And all the broiler chicken shows, and I mean, fuck, I have all the coinage shows. I mean, it could be like literally 10,000 hours of content constantly playing. And then I have another guy on the site who actually builds video games, and I really want to get an online coin pusher video game going for Decentraland. I think that would be such a great idea. Anyway, back to our story here. We still got quite a few names to get through. I should get back on task here. So sushi, what would Brian say about sushi? Sushi, ironically enough, it's actually very similar to kind of the Compound story, isn't it? It's like another decentralized kind of name that I'm probably most likely going to default to Luna or Ubiq if they get their bridging service with ETH versus doing something on sushi. But your case, Nick, is that sometimes if you can shop across all of these decentralized exchanges, sometimes you can find really good rates for some of these wraps that you won't find on other
Absolutely.
sites.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I think that there is also a case, I think, this year, like I wasn't around for 2017, but this year it seems like a lot of sectors are pumping at the same time. And so I know a lot of people are more looking for echo pumps. If now that we've seen a half a dozen DeFi coins or NFT coins go crazy, they're looking for those next ones that are going. And so I think it is pretty good to have like a list of a dozen DeFi coins, if you can find a dozen that you like, and always be looking for like the next runner if that sector starts going again.
Yeah. Okay. They used to run them actually by letters before, but yeah, we used to have different sectors. Actually, no offense, but actually I think last cycle was a lot more fun because we had coins that were like specifically targeting different sectors of the economy, whereas I just don't see that. It almost feels like now, how do you describe it? To be perfectly honest with you, it feels now like it's a much bigger shill. Whereas before, it felt like people were in it for the fun of it. So that's one thing I've really noticed. There's not much fun in this anymore. And, you know, my comments about the Chinese wanting to fuck you over, it's your fault if you get taken advantage of, that tone is really taking a lot of the fun out of this experience for me. Because I'm always thinking that these fuckers are trying to steal my money. Which is such a shame. I don't think... Ironically enough, cryptocurrencies, I suppose you could argue, it's been like this ever since day one. But, I don't know, it just felt like... and especially a lot of the coins and stories, they were actually local guys here in Vancouver that I knew that were actually doing the coins and the stories, like a lot of the charity coins, the porn coins, that was a lot of fun. And those were the type of sectors, you know, like it would be like, all right, they're running the pot coins. Remember, we had like THC and we had pot coin and sativa coin. And it was so fun how they came up with all these different names. I'm sure it was all bullshit and it was all a lie and all a con, but it just felt like it was a lot more fun in the last cycle. I don't know. I mean, just even like our next name that we're going to have on the list, like Dash. Last cycle, Dash, it was a lot of fun because we kept talking about Amanda, and Amanda was sort of like the public face of the altcoins last cycle. I don't know whether do any of you even remember Amanda? Do you know who she is?
That was before my time.
No?
I might recognize the face.
Name
No,
doesn't ring a bell off top?
No,
I've heard you make
the
reference.
name does, but I didn't really follow, I would say, her that closely or Dash that closely last time, so.
And the interesting thing about Dash, of course, was they're the big sort of anonymous coins, right? So I always was wondering what was going to happen with these anonymous coins. Because in essence, they are kind of everything that the regulators don't like about this space. You want to launder money? Use the anonymous coins, right? I mean, that's what their big selling feature is. I mean, I might make the argument that if you're a crook and you want to use cryptocurrency, don't use Bitcoin. That's the last thing in the world you want to do. You know? Which is so ironic because the people that are uneducated, they sell Bitcoin as like, oh, this is what the criminals would use. But if you actually understand Bitcoin, you understand how stupid that statement is. Anyway. Derek, you're about to say something?
Well, I was gonna say during the last during 2018, I remember there was a story with Dash and I guess claiming to be sort of the currency of Venezuela. Like there was a lot of issues in Venezuela, and I think they had
Maybe.
done
I
some work
see.
down there. I was just curious to know if anybody knew if that
I
was still a
see.
thing or.
Alex Bentley over there on YouTube says Dash is insanely popular in Venezuela, accepted
Okay.
almost
Okay, so it must still
everywhere.
have some traction there then, because I know they tried to deploy it there for back in 2018, 2019, I think.
Well, I suppose in totalitarian dictatorships, the anonymous coin, that's perfect. I mean, is that not? I mean, that's just absolute. That's textbook, isn't it?
Yeah, it works.
And if you get caught using it, you might just get shot on the spot. Take your chances. Spin the wheel. Take your chances. All right. So,
I know another story for Dash in the last cycle was that they were looking to solve the problem of cannabis transactions, people that were unable to put their money in the bank, and I think Dash was going to be the solution to that.
Yeah. So the coin ran up to absolutely insane levels. A lot of people made just an absolute fortune. And then what I noticed is it just felt like everybody they made a ton of money, and it was sort of like, okay, party's over, and they all just walked away. I mean, that's honestly what it felt like to me. I mean, I don't know. This is Binance versus Tether, but I don't think this does this justice. Like if we go over to... and that's the weird thing is that Binance... I mean, gee whiz, it sucks how we don't have all these old... Like Polo. Fucking Polo was around when I first started in crypto. I mean, if anybody's going to have great data on these names, it should be places like Polo. And... It's kind of funny how now the talk. Yeah, so we just don't have any data. This is so bizarre how it's like this. I know. If we look at it versus Bitcoin, we should see insane prices. Yeah. So I mean, versus Bitcoin, look at that, eh? So I mean, it's kind of weird how in this space it's like. This is the recent rally that you saw that was like, woo, take it to new highs, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. I mean, this is just it's not even a shadow of its former self. This thing feels like it's completely hollowed out, but it's fascinating. You guys are saying it's pretty popular over there in South and Central America, I guess. Over in Kraken. They have a USD on Kraken. There we are. Let's see what we got here. There we go. All right, so that's a little better image. Thank you, Oscar. Appreciate it. Say hi to your brother for me. Hey, did your brother just get married? So if he did, best wishes. Hope that went well. I suppose if you like, I don't even know if Amanda's even still here. I mean, this is we did this right, and so. Through here, we called this up here, I was doing like range extensions. God, I can't even remember. It might have been off of those lows there, It might have been. I can't even remember. It was so long ago. But, and then we were going, and then every if you think about this as a trading range, then basically each of these ranges is just nothing more than a replication of that previous range. So you can walk right up the market here, and just all it's doing is just replicating the range after the range after the range after the range. But yeah, this I guess because versus dollar looked different. Versus Bitcoin, it was really cool because it was like literally each level of the department store it stopped at, and we'd have like a funny little conversation about women's lingerie and all that kind of fun stuff. But and Amanda, of course, she lived right at the top of the department store up in her penthouse. But oh well. Wow, now that's an interesting couple candles, eh? Look at that. So this versus Bitcoin. I mean, the interesting thing is versus Bitcoin, you can actually see the defined range. What a mess, eh? Ay, 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 ay. So it could very easily trade on either side of these extremes. That's not generally a good sign. I mean, how the hell do you even consider buying that? I was kind of hoping I could show you that penthouse image. It was so cool. Maybe oh, I guess Trex killed them, eh? I think I had to remove my coins off of Trex way back when.
It looks like Dash is sort of backed away from that whole privacy thing. Like
I would have bet.
they backpedaled a little bit. Recently, in 2020, I was looking at something that said, I guess basically they changed the privacy portion to it's optional, right? So I guess it was on by default previously, and then they changed it to an optional setting. So I mean, you can get some privacy out of it, but I guess, and I imagine that maybe both parties would have to have the privacy setting on for it to, actually make a difference. But
this is going back all the way to the beginning, right? So this is going back to February. Look at that, January 2014. That's why I really like looking at Polo. They got some great data. Doesn't look good, boys. And the sad thing is, right, as we go, this thing's not a bull until you actually see a W out on the other side of this trend line. Interesting how that's a 200-week moving average too.
And that's from last cycle.
Yeah. All right, this is actually a couple cycles. This is going back.
Well, I just mean the peak where you're saying from the other side of this line. They've been waiting almost 4 years now.
Yeah, and it's just lower highs is lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. That's not a good sign. I'd probably say, until you start actually, and the worst part about this is, can you kind of see that this kind of looks like a big head and shoulders? So, if we start dumping through here, does that mean we have to go all the way right back to this bottom? Maybe. So, yeah, I think there's better fish to fry. It's too bad. I don't even know what I did with my Dash. I know I had a bunch of it free from last cycle, but I don't see. I'm just gonna simply say better fish to fry. Old story needs new FA drivers. Where's Amanda? Alright, and what do we got here? Not interested. FA project feels dead. Oh boy. Not interested. Not interested. Boom. Alright. Couldn't even get Ben to even bite. That's not a good sign. Alright, next one. Hedera. Any comment? Anybody know what the heck this is?
So what I know of it is that it's it's a different sort of technology. It's not really considered a blockchain. Like the algorithm's a little bit different. They have in terms of transactions per second, I think right now they say they can do, I don't know, 10,000 transactions a second. And it can scale up from there. So it's one of those projects that has some academia behind it as well. Interesting link to, in my opinion, U.S. government, like Air Force and that type of thing. One of the founders was like a computer science professor at, I guess, the Air Force Academy, that type of thing. I am invested in this, so I know a little bit about it.
Okay.
It has a lot of what they call a council. So the council comes together, and it's comprised of a lot of different companies from different sectors, right? So DL Piper, Boeing, Google, IBM, and I remember I don't know if you remember, I'm trying to get more involved with like blockchain development, and so I was looking at, for corporations, looking at like the blockchain, like IBM's blockchain, and so this is directly sort of integrated with that. So where you would be able to, like, a corporation is going to want a private blockchain for the most part, right? To keep their data private for the most part.
Did IBM hook up with Stellar Lumens?
Yeah, they do have some sort of partnership. I did look a little bit deeper into that. They have some sort of partnership with Stellar as a sort of like a payment system or something like that, where you can use Stellar on top of IBM's blockchain to provide like certain different services, things like that. So
Okay.
there's that connection with that, but this sort of has a direct integration with IBM's blockchain. So it's like a 1-2 punch type of deal where you could have a corporation that has a private blockchain on IBM and then uses like the Hedera hash graph to sort of finalize transactions and keep track of like the hashing and all that stuff in terms of like verifying transactions and that type of thing could be on the public blockchain, but it's still sort of private, right? Where so it's I mean there's a lot of companies involved in terms of big corporation type companies, and this is a company itself, right? The code is not open source and that type of thing, so it's a little bit more closed ecosystem. They have a ton of, I mean, they have the typical services that the NFTs. They have a direct integration with Ethereum in terms of smart contracts, so you can literally port your Solidity contract over to and use it on Hedera. So a lot of the developer, documentation, all that stuff is really strong. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I know about it.
Yeah, I won't add much at all, but there are a lot of people that are very interested in the long-term viability of HBAR. I have no bias either way. I don't know enough to be able to say, but
All right.
Long
Well, I mean,
term.
it looks like it's a fancy website, so that's got to be a good thing.
Is anyone familiar with Mike Maloney?
Mike
The-
Maloney?
Yeah, the
The
gold guy.
money
He's invested
masters.
in it, right? Yeah, he's
Right.
invested in
Yeah.
it.
He did a really cool Bitcoin documentary series, and his conclusion that he came up to was that Hashgraph was going to be the Bitcoin kind of killer, and he was going to go all in on Hashgraph. But I think that was before it had been released, and whether or not it was going to be privatized or it was going to be an open source kind of thing. But that's interesting.
Well, I mean, I suppose you guys are familiar with my funny little trading setups. So I don't think it should surprise any of us that, mind you, that's probably more, but let's see. Oh, that's what I wanted. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, it is way beyond that. I mean, I don't mind. I like what I see here. This is probably a really, really good example of that Ron Jeremy setup. So, boobity boo, right in here. On this resolution here, you gotta like go like laser beam focused to try and get in on the long side. This will be a tough one. I don't think that's gonna be easy. They didn't make this. I mean, this is a beautiful base. Remember we were talking earlier about, we saw some coins that are kind of like looking here and you're kind of like, well, is this a W, and you're kind of like, well, maybe. And you notice that, see how long it takes for this thing to base? And then look at this over here. You see, well, first off, look how it goes down and then up, and then we do a serious test of these lows, and then we turn back up. That's the kind of W that the grade 3 teacher likes, right? So, that's the stuff I need for you guys to sort of see. And how we have seen quite a few names that are kind of like, putting in these little W's here, but it's awfully quick. So that's actually a good learning piece just from this little one right here. Beautiful.
if it's quick, but it still has symmetry, is it okay?
I mean, if it's really quick and it's like down, up, down, then what usually happens is it goes straight up, right up into the old sort of levels like that, and it makes this really powerful, tight little W that looks like that. So, I mean, if you want to step in and try and grab that thing, just understand that in the level 1, I tell you guys, let's start off with like weekly price charts. Show me those weekly W's. And if anything, this makes it really easy for you guys. Because if you look at this weekly chart, you can see that really, there wasn't anything really to get interested in until this point right here, right there. And you can see, I mean, it didn't look back. Just see you later. So there's your weekly W. See that, Nick? And the thing is,
it's tough to get a quick W on the weekly. You're looking at a lot of candles to be able to really
well, so that's the point.
do that.
I mean, like,
I got you.
How long does this take to actually develop? Now you can see this cute little one, right? It went down, up, down, and then turned back up. So, you know, I mean, even that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. That's like a month and a half. And I mean, you could have played that heading up here. I mean, that's doable. It's interesting how, you know, candle body highs up into wicks. Probably this was like a reload zone going the other direction. So RLZs, right? Good old Mountain Man right in there. So you can play that if you want. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I mean, look at this one. Down, up, down, breakout. I mean, wow. What a W there, eh? So do you think you can hunt that? See that? Down, up, down, breakout. I mean, it's so tight. It's so fast. Point here is that if you use the weekly chart, you can really see the W's very nice and crisply, right? And you're not bullshitting yourself. So, having said that, this is where I'd like to be a buyer of this kind of stuff. Here, not really a hell of a lot I can do. Probably Ben is going to tell us, because of course he wants us to learn this concept and we keep forgetting it, that of course this is going to be a Wyckoff check right down in these levels right here, right? And if I'm being cheeky, I'm sorry, Ben. I'm just having fun with you. Also, too,
Well, good. I love getting to say it every week.
Yeah, and you know the cool part about it is that 10 years from now, you're going to hear Wyckoff check, and you're going to be taken instantly right back to here. And you're really like, oh, that Beamish guy, don't say that term.
Hey, it's better than a lot of the other Wyckoff information that's flying around out there at the moment.
Is it?
It's become a meme, the Wyckoff kind of accumulation, and everyone seems to be an expert on it, but yeah. You know, it's funny. I mean, this is a pretty universal concept, so you know, I'm not even really saying that that's even happening right now. But you know, actually, here's a really good analogy of trading. Have you ever heard me say look left? I think I've talked about that before with you guys. So you can tell, like, that low right there is obviously a really important low, and then that low there. So that's the last time that somebody really stepped in earnest and said, no more down, you go up. So I think the market's just working its way right back down into those levels. Candle body lows for trade location. So you got a couple really kick-ass trade location. 78.6, and then, of course, your big Wyckoff breakout. So, also, too, and you see how we stabbed into value high here. We snap back, and the market's like, I don't want to be in value high. And then we said, yeah, okay, I do. Lower highs and lower lows. Usually you get some play around Mountain Man, so it doesn't surprise me there was a bounce there. I mean, Mountain guy always makes money. It's ridiculous. So I haven't seen him in 10 years, and I know he's still trading this level. But I would find it hard to believe that we're going to see anything really sort of the bottom anytime soon. And if anything, you know, this is just like all our other conversations. You can clearly see, if anything, what I would say is you can clearly see this is going to dump into here. It's probably going to play around here. Then it's going to break out. And then if we get the W on the other side of the trend line, okay, away we go. And actually, that's not even really the best looking one. You really want that W completely on the other side of the trend line. So that would be better, something like that. Or you get that like double confirmation in there. So what is that? That's and actually this would make sense if we bottomed in here and then into the end of the year we cranked higher, because that's kind of what I'm thinking Bitcoin's going to do. And then sometime in early 2022 we top out, and that's the end of the rally. So does this thing actually pivot and turn and make new highs? Can't really comment on that. Maybe. Might be interesting if you do get a W that comes in here. Here's kind of a fun trick. We call this Foggen Bomb.
where you're going to take that previous W, the right-hand side of the W back to the middle, and then draw some chaos levels. And the chaos levels actually give you a nice roadmap as to what you should frame expectations on. So I'm a little surprised this guy didn't make... surprised he didn't get up into that 877. So there's probably some unfinished business. My hunch is it probably does want to get up into there. But that's just pure conjecture. Who knows? So, looking at this, not a good trade location. No reason to be a buyer just yet. But we work our way. What am I looking at? Looking at versus USDT. If we can work our way back down to about a dime, so about half of what it's trading at right now, I might be interested. I will say too expensive. Call me 10. Oops. 0.10 lower. Okay, so I'm hearing you guys like the fundamentals, so why don't we put, say, interested in FA story. So I will say that you did get my interest in the FA. Interested, FA, bullish, corporation, governance, TA, not the best. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Need to learn more, ignorant about its fundamentals. Okay. And interested, will wait for a better location. All right, cool. All right, sounds good. Decred! Hey, I haven't seen Decred in forever. Of course, I used to... geez, we made lots of money on Decred last cycle. In fact, Decred was the first coin to take off in 2017. Like in January 2017. Man, it jumped out of the gate. And what was really weird is this year, it actually led the charge higher first thing out of the gate as well. So I did find that kind of interesting. Are any of the three of you familiar with Decred?
Outside of it supposedly being a better version of Bitcoin, no.
Supposedly. I remember the lead developer. He was kind of an interesting guy. I remember he did a really interesting interview back in January 2017, I guess. And literally the coin just went absolutely crazy. And it was like the first sort of make me rich coin. I remember that back then. And the funny thing is, I bet if we do like Binance nonsense here, they probably don't even have the data. Nope. You wouldn't even know. That's the kind of thing I don't like about this Binance. That's not actually what Decred actually looks like.
Yeah, because I remember when I remember hearing a lot about it when I first got involved in 17, 18 or whatever, and I guess back then I was more about, it wasn't cheap enough for me to buy, right? I couldn't get enough of it in terms of like, I felt like the coin was too expensive, right? Like I couldn't get a bunch of it, so I didn't necessarily want it, but I know the story back then, there was a lot of, the community was really big into
There we
it.
go.
Right?
Oh,
Had a nice
so
community
Decred,
following.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. So you see back in early 2017, this was one of the first coins that actually took off in that bull market. And this is interesting. I didn't even realize that it actually has broken out to new highs, relatively speaking. I mean, look at that. Goddamn W, eh? Do you guys see? Like, this is more of that kind of sauce or bottom type action. And look what do you think the grade 3 English teacher would think about that W? And keep in mind, this is a weekly price chart.
That's a mighty fine W.
Damn straight. She would go, you know what? You get yourself an A+, Junior. So, what a level. Fuck me. God, I wish I'd seen this last year, eh? Damn it. So, how many weeks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, here, you know what? I'm too lazy. Let's go like this. So, that took 38 weeks. About 38, 39 weeks. So, you want to know what a really good-looking long base looks like? Well, it's about a good half a year. Those are the best bases. So, do we look like this now? Nope. So, You know, the problem here is we're kind of just out in no man's land right now. It's not cheap. I suppose it's not overly ridiculously expensive, but certainly not bargain basement prices. You know, if anything, if I did want to be a buyer, probably got to back her on up into reload zones. Boom. Yeah. So, and actually this looks like a leprechaun. You guys ever seen a leprechaun? Where's our setups?
Sounds like a hybrid.
Trading range. Actually, maybe we don't even have it in here. Oh no, I don't. So we used to have an Irishman on the site. This is the Shark setup. 78.6 off a range with original market structure. And then we had another gentleman. Like I said, he was Irish, but he lived in Germany. He loved buying 88.6s, which is perfectly fine. So we affectionately called the 88.6 level the leprechaun. So I think that's what I would be targeting here. And also, too, you can see how that's the top of value as well. So here is kind of no man's land. I mean, anything could happen. It's not really cheap. It's not really overly expensive. And also, too, gee whiz, look at that big old damn top up there. So, perfect analogy of sort of the spring 2021 looking very much like spring 2013. And I do like the idea of this basically cleaning itself up through the latter part of the year. And then into the end of the year, same sort of thing. There's some sort of blow-off top coming into the end of the year. And I have a feeling it's everything to do with the U.S. dollar and maybe even potentially the U.S. dollar losing its hegemony status. Tough to say. But I wouldn't be surprised if this cleanup here through this period is going to set some sort of base for some insane rally. But unfortunately, you can't even think about buy signals or anything here. We're just stuck in no man's land. So there's not really much you can do. So there's my wonderful TA. Woohoo! Party. So with that said, like I said, I'll be happy to take a good look at this thing at about $30 if it does work its way down into there. But here, not that interested. So I'll say, look at it around 30 at the moment in no man's land. Okay, not interested. FA strong community. TA too far too fast. Not interested. Not interested at the moment. All right, fair enough. All right, and SNX. This is another one that was on Dave's list. Our last one for the evening, SNX. I know Dave been watching this one religiously ever since last winter. I mean, you can see where you're supposed to be long this thing. So, are you long from here? I don't know. I suppose you could argue, quick stabs back into reload zones. There's Mountain Man. Would have been a tough trade to take, but nonetheless, there's a good analogy of sometimes all you get is a Mountain Man, and then woo, away we go. Probably could also do some foggy boggies off of this range. My hunch is that's probably a foggy level up there. 4.669, that's not bad. Nice level. And then unfortunately we're now on the other side of this bull market. So there's your trend line. And we can't really say this thing's a buy until we actually W on the other side of this trend line. So for example, say you were interested down here. You gotta wait for the trend line to be broken, something along those lines. No W, break the trend line. There's your W, away you go. So it's interesting how we drew that there. I think your buy signal was right there. I mean, that's a pretty fucking kick-ass buy signal. And look how it just literally went straight up. Can you see that, guys? I mean, Derek, didn't you say... Oh, no, Ben, you said you're here to learn how to make money. Maybe Derek's here. I don't know. Nick, are you here to learn how to make money from trading?
I'm here to learn how to make money too. Come on now.
Okay. What do you think, guys? Are you getting the message? Do you see this? Unfortunately, this is what you gotta see for you to go, fucking A, man. Time to start seriously thinking about Lambos.
That doesn't look like an A+W though.
No. Grade 3 English teacher. But what I would say is other side of trend line. So now you want to go into hunting mode. So let's see what grade 3 English teacher would think of this, that, and that. That's not bad. No? It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not bad. I don't mind that. I'd also say, too, if you had your trend line break, then what you're really looking for on the trend line break is you're just looking for that reason to get in. Because it's cleared through resistance now, right? This is all the resistance. So it's cleared through this. You just give me a reason to get long. So think of it that way, okay, Nick? Slightly different than if you're coming in, say, at the bottom here, and you don't know if this thing is actually bottomed yet, and we're talking kind of like sauce or bottom type idea, then I think you're best to look for, and actually that's a crappy one, but I think you're best to look for that really well-defined structure. The trend line breakouts, it's just sort of like, oh God, I got to get in. I got to get in. I mean, is this a better looking trend line breakout? That's a fucking killer W down in there. But, were you at the wheel, at the switch to be able to pull the trigger on that event? If you were, proof of the pudding's in the eating. So I want you guys, when you're paper trading, it's a little bit advanced for you, Nick. You're going to learn this in the level 2. Derek, of course, you did just learn this, so I really want to see you paper trading these trend lines on the site. I want to see you getting good at this. And Ben, of course, you can look forward to this. If you want to practice on your own, great. But like I said, in the Scope program, we sort of walk through how you do this step by step by step. So. Anyway, bottom line here is we are nowhere near that trend line. There's no hurry here at all. And if anything, we're probably coming up against like sort of trend line support going the other direction. All right, there you go. So my hunch is that actually, it's a tough one. I wouldn't be surprised. Here's actually another, speaking of Dominic, here's another example of Hogue, right? And actually coming in and buying below value here. So this isn't a bad area down in here. But is it trending higher? We won't be until we W on the other side of this. For now, if anything, this is a beautiful ranging type market state. Can you make money buying here, risking this window, and looking to take profits on that move, just trading in the trading range? Sure, I think so. But it's not trending higher. So that's the way I would look at that. So, we never really talked FA. So who can tell me the story? What would you tell me is the story here?
So has Sjord told you a lot about Mirror Protocol and the Luna ecosystem?
Actually, I know TRI, if they do watch this later on, TRI is very intimately aware of the Mirror Protocol. That's like the stock trading, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a synthetics. It is a synthetics derivative protocol, and synthetics was just an earlier version of that. As far as I know, it was maybe the first one that came into DeFi to do that, but they've got synthetic fiat currencies, synthetic cryptocurrencies. They've got cryptocurrency indexes, inverse cryptocurrencies. You can buy synthetic gold and silver.
These are all wrapped.
Yeah, they're all synthetic, so like they're derivatives.
Is that like FTX kind of site?
Yeah. That's what I was kind of thinking about. Is I thought you talked about the risk there last week with throwing stocks and stuff on.
Yeah, I mean that. Then this is interesting. If it's completely decentralized, then this opens up a really interesting can of worms. But I can tell you, it bothers me immensely that the crypto kids are so cavalier about going after like literally $1 trillion industry. I mean, you think the people that own and run that business are just going to let you kids have this? I mean, what are you, stupid? I mean, they're not. I mean, I don't mean to be rude to the crypto people, but come on, you're acting like naive here. So this bothers me immensely. Having said that, can you trade this and make money from the trade? I think so. Like I said, you could probably this is probably a reload zone. Brian and his crazy 78.6s. Wow, what a surprise. That's ridiculous when you see that so often. And of course, Ben is sitting there going, you stupid idiots, this is nothing more than a
work-off check.
Thank you. So, I mean, ironically enough, this probably isn't a terrible place to buy. Hoag's in here, right? It's below value. So there's probably, and candle body highs. I mean, I hope you guys on YouTube, like that guy who said that I'm a shill. Can you people that are watching on YouTube, can you just attest right now that I'm not shilling you anything here and I'm trying to help you? I mean, here's another great example of candle body highs for trade location. Ironically enough, as it stands right now, that's basically the POC. So, could you come in here at like 6 and look to let some go at 18? Sell half on a double? That's not a double. That's a triple. Sell half on a triple? What do you think? Would you guys like to sell half on a triple? That's not such a bad living.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Sell a third on a triple. I mean, really. Sorry?
No, good. So I was looking at the the investors on here, and I see Coinbase Ventures. So, and I know that Coinbase is probably seems like one of the more heavily regulated or compliant exchanges, at least in from what I hear and that type of thing. So I wonder, is there a longer term play here, which is could synthetics actually bring that stuff onto the blockchain where do it the right way, I guess is what I'm getting at.
And you know what I think this comes back to is I believe that this coming growth cycle, this coming greed cycle, it peaks in 2035, and I believe the top of this cycle, every fucking second word out of people's mouth is going to be crypto. We might not even be using fiat currencies at that point. But, like the entire insurance industry, the entire stock brokerage industry, it is all going to move to the blockchain. No doubt about it whatsoever. So the question really here is, since we know it's such a big industry, and we know that there's a lot of money, and these people, they play hardball, what would be a realistic game plan? And I believe that, and it's interesting, in our TRI SOF group last night, there's a SPAC that's taking a position in that backed. They're actually gonna SPAC backed. Say that 10 times fast. So the players in the industry are placing their bets. And I believe industry has come in hard on Coinbase. I think, that Coinbase guy, I mean, he's awfully cute. Did you see the way the girls in the elevator acted with him when she got into the elevator and she found out that he was Mr. Coinbase? I don't know. It's a joke. It was a total shill commercial.
Yeah, I think I saw that's what I was about to say. I think I saw a commercial or some type of meme or something that somebody reacted to.
I mean, it was such a joke. It was such a. They're making like a little 5-foot bald guy, a little white bald 90-pound, white guy, into some sort of sex god or something. And that's the way the American capitalist system works, right? No offense, you Americans, but you guys love to turn sort of nerdy guys into sex symbols when they're totally not. But what the hell? Anyway, point being, I believe that guy has made friends. And what's his name? Do any of the three of you know his name? He's a fairly famous guy. We should probably at least acknowledge him. I mean, fuck, the guy's a billionaire, so way to go.
Brian Armstrong.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And
I know my fellow bald guys. Don't worry.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I'm just pretending, right? At least you guys are being honest.
Yeah, I conceded a long time ago.
Don't worry about it, dude. It's all good. And actually, you see, we're all sporting the mustaches too, right? So we all got the facial hair going. Where was I saying? Yeah, so I think that this Coinbase guy, I mean, that whole fucking spring market rally, I think was all about Coinbase. And the dog money, that was just a distraction. And the guy who pumped up the dog money, he was explicitly told to do what he did so that people wouldn't focus on Coinbase. And basically the blatant criminal activity of pumping the market up, shilling it to the public. I mean, what was the market cap when they actually did that IPO? I mean, it was like a record, just stunning amount of money, wasn't it? Like $200 billion?
I was going to say, I wanted to say, yeah, I heard 150 when it was getting close. I don't know what the final evaluation
they had to get
was.
that money from somebody. This was the whole shill. I mean, this is what our modern day capitalist system looks like. Having said that, if you want to place your bets in crypto, it's not a bad idea to try and figure out who's sort of like, driving the bus. I don't think it's a good idea to place bets against Goldman Sachs and see if you can try to ride their coattails. It's interesting. Sjord's in love with Luna right now, and I believe that the stable coin that all of you Americans are going to you are going to fall in love with it whether you like it or not. And that's Goldman Sachs' stable coin. That's the one you are going to be programmed to fall in love with. And if you don't accept your programming, well, it's going to be illegal. And if you use anything else, you're fucked. So take your choice. Either accept the programming or there's the police officer you can go talk to. So, unfortunately, I think that's the nature of the beast. I'm a type of guy, I kind of like to be a small fish in a big pond. I don't ever want to get to the point where I even have the conversations with these people. I don't even want to know them. I don't want to be a part of that world. I was a part of that world. I think they're disgusting whores. And I would much rather just, if I could, head off to Hawaii and do my little not-for-profit plantation, and we all, do our yoga out in front of the ocean and try and get in touch with the universe. That's what I'd rather do. I don't want to go to New York and fight these fucking fights with these people. They're all evil. And the worst part about it is, as soon as you start winning a fight with any of these people, they just go and have you fucking assassinated. So it's like, what's the point? Anyway. Not speaking
Haitians
for
know
public.
how that works.
Pardon me?
I said the Haitians know how that works.
Actually, didn't a Haitian just get knocked off? What was that?
This morning.
Yeah, the president.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I will say though, Brian, you were talking about like not being a shill, or if somebody calls you a shill, like I feel like 90% of the time you're screaming at us not to buy stuff. And maybe you get that 1 out of 10. Although it's changing a little bit now that things are coming back down. But most of the time it's no, don't. Why would you ever buy this?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I used to have people that, like in the brokerage industry, they call, if you really want somebody to buy something, I'm pounding the table. This you have to buy, That's it. You'd sit in the board. Whoop, look at that. I knocked the camera right off the screen. But, if you're sitting in the boardroom, right, and you pound the table, you got to buy this thing. And there used to be this one guy. Actually, I think a couple of you guys were referred to us by him. And he would say, that Beamish guy, he never pounds the table. Never. Ever. But actually, in this last cycle, I did pound the table a couple times, eh? And actually, man, I made this one little VSC stock I pounded the table on. I fucking killed that thing. I'll show you what I did here. And actually, this is probably a great way to finish the evening. Just to show you what I like to do in the market. I actually used to trade stock with this particular guy. Back last cycle, I bought a silver deal with him, and we made great money off that. But this one, we came in and had the technical, all the criteria met from the VCIM model that you learned in the level 1 program, Nick, down here. Can you see where my mouse is and the cursor down here?
I can.
I'm long from 6 cents. That's where I was long. And this was so fucking cool. I couldn't believe it. I totally pulled this one out of my ass. And it's so funny because I was even sort of bragging to the funny little PR firm that's running the company now. But I actually, based on foggy levels, I actually sold there at 82 cents. I can actually even show you the fills. Just based on that fog and bomb level. I actually was filled right here on my sell orders. And I got to tell you, man, the day I got that fill there, I was just like, I don't need to do this website anymore. I don't need to, the universe has rewarded me. I've gone full circle. I can now just go and I'm done. So I was just so pleased with that. So that's the kind of stuff that I do in the stock market. But this is an example of one that I pounded the table. And I tell you, Nick, do yourself a favor. Learn this VCIM model. It was taught to me by an old VSC floor broker. And we are now finally back in the growth cycle. The funny thing is that the last time we were in a growth environment, the three of you were probably in grade school. Maybe even you weren't even born yet. So I don't even think you guys even realize how these prices can just go absolutely insane. So, yeah. Get out there and have some fun, man. This is a killer market. We should be able to make a lot of money. But the problem is you can't come in and chase. You have to be patient and disciplined and buy your W's and bottom ends of ranges, good fundamental stories. Blah, 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 blah.
And if you miss, the next bus arrives in 10 minutes.
Well, yeah. And, this is an interesting anecdote of that. Because literally what I see happening here is the bus took off. And it's the exact same thing as the iMining. That iMining is in the crypto space. So, big surprise. It went fucking apeshit like all of these stocks. What a surprise, right? But the point here is don't chase. And like Nick just said, and of course, there's good old Ben sitting at his Wyckoff level. And there's fucking Derek sitting there hanging out with Hogue. And there's Beamish sitting at his 78.6. I mean, the funny thing is that if you watch this and do this long enough, you're going to go, this shit is so stunningly cliche, it's ridiculous. But ironically enough, nobody ever sort of bothers to take the time to learn this stuff. But hey, we're going to change that, aren't we? Okay, so, holy geez, 37 minutes over. I guess we didn't bother with that stopwatch tonight, did we?
I was gonna stop it if it became bad talk. No, I was enjoying it too much, to be honest.
Okay, I mean, did you guys enjoy yourself? Let's do a poll. Ben, what do you think? Did you have a good time tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, quality stuff.
Excellent. Derek, what do you think? Do I keep my
as
job?
always, yeah, had a good time. Yep.
Great. I think I keep my job. How about you people over on YouTube? Did you learn anything tonight? I know you, Oscar and Kevin, you OGers. Maybe that's why there's only a few people over there, and it's all the OGs. But I hope somebody over there on YouTube got some value out of this. So, all right. I think we'll probably leave it at that. Let's see. Who we had? I think Derek took us out last week, didn't he?
It's Ben's
Ben's turn. All right. So, do we want to do our Bitcoin vote? So how'd we do? Brian said that he was optimistic. I don't know. Do we have a price of where we were last week?
Yeah, so I put those in. We were at 35,000 when the show started last week and 33.3 when the show started this week.
And where are we now? 33.4. Oh, right. Well, gee, man. Okay, fine. So last week, this is a weekly. Oh yeah, so weekly price chart. I was optimistic. Man, doesn't look like I'm optimistic. Unfortunately, I think, geez, I hate to say it. Looking at that chart, I'm not gonna be outright bearish, but I'm gonna have to go back to cautious. This doesn't look too good for me. So what is that? -1 for Brian. I'm gonna have to go back to. I'm not gonna go like sky's falling, but I don't think I'm gonna be like really thinking much bullish here. Nick, what do you think? How are you feeling?
I'm with you. I got another week of -1.
Okay. So, who's next? Derek. Derek is one of these bold guys, isn't he? So he's going to be neutral.
Yeah, I think I'm just neutral. That's just
cool.
my probably personality is just medium, just neutral all the time.
That's cool. And actually, I can hear it in your voice, right? Are you a dad?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear the dad in you. That's cool. That's good. All right, and finally, Ben. Ben, what are we gonna do here? Oh, Ben, you were insanely bullish last week. Did you get liquidated?
No, I went bullish on a few alts. So
how'd you do on those?
Trading.
Did you make some
trading
money?
in the range? Yeah, made a little bit. Haven't banged out doubles yet, but
okay, well, that's better than kicking the pants.
And yeah, but I mean, I think with what you're saying about with this being Bitcoin, I would have to say I've got a feeling it's either going to go a little bit sideways, maybe down a bit. So I would have to sit there. But
what are we going to say? So it sounds to me like you're either neutral or cautious. Which one would you say you are?
Which one's lower? The
cautious would be lower. That would be
okay. I'll go neutral. I'll
jump go neutral.
Derek's camp. Yeah.
Okay. All right, neutral it is. So, what's our little index doing? Have we been keeping? Whoa, what's this? He thought he would regret this vote. Oh, that was Nick.
I think you wrote down that I thought I was gonna not be happy about that one.
Yeah, I remember. I thought we were gonna. Oh, maybe we have the index over here. Anyway, I suppose we should try and keep an index. It'll be really cool to graph this index over time. Okay, well, we've got our votes, so good luck, everybody. I don't think it really matters one way or the other, but hey, this is a lot of fun, regardless. Thank you so much, everybody on YouTube. Sure hope you appreciated the offering. Thank you, Derek, Ben, and Nick. And I think the only thing left for us to do here, Ben, is somebody's got to take us on out of here, eh? So, the only thing left for TRI to say at this point is...
Bye for now.